Good evening and welcome to the campus at St. Clair College in beautiful Windsor, Ontario, the site of CJFL semifinal football action. Good evening, everybody. My name is Dominic Papa, and we have a dandy game on hand for you here this evening at the Acumen Stadium here at St. Clair College. It's the Canadian Junior Football League semifinal matchup between the Okanagan Sun from British Columbia and the host team, the St. Clair Saints. Of course, joining us on the broadcast, as always, color commentator extraordinaire, the doctor of football, Badia Quas, and doesn't get much more exciting than this, Badia, unless it's the national championship game.
Absolutely. What a great atmosphere here. The college has put on a really good show. The league is ready for a big game between the number 1 and 2, and we're excited for it.
Let's find out how Okanagan and the Saints got here. We're going to take a look at their runs this season. These two teams very similar, Badi, and you look at even in the playoffs, it's almost similar. The standings, everything. We'll go through all of it, but you can see how they both got here with their victories in the playoffs.
Absolutely. In dominating fashion in both games. The reality of it is you have two of the top premier teams in the country battling off, and right now it's for all the marbles. Both these teams have earned their rights and are undefeated coming into this game.
And I say they're similar. They're very similar because even if you look at the regular season numbers, very similar. And we'll go through that during the broadcast, but and Justin Prince will have that information for you. These two teams actually did meet up. But you were part of that game in 1999. They actually met up in a playoff game back then, and this was a national championship game, Biddy.
Yeah, the national final in '99. I was fortunate to be on the coaching staff back then when it was the AKO Fratman, and we hosted it, and that went right down to the wire. What a great game, great atmosphere back at the old Windsor Stadium. I think there was like 5,000 people there, and we brought that energy, and it was such a good experience for all parties, and fortunately for the homers, AKO came out on top in that game.
I remember that game. It was a dandy game, and certainly two outstanding organizations here. But you look at the history of the Fratman and now the Saints. You look at Okanagan. I had a chance to talk to Coach Miller during the week on the Saints Sports Show, and he talked about the history of Okanagan. These two teams are just loaded with history and just a tremendous success.
100% history at the national level, but even recent history. Both these teams have lost in the final the last handful of years, haven't been able to get over the hump. Their players don't have the national experience, yet this year both teams broke through, won their conference final, and have earned the right to represent their conference at the national level.
All right, the two teams look like they're ready to square off here. So we're going to take a timeout, but he's going to get into the broadcast booth. He's going to join Justin Prince for the call. It's the CJFL semifinal championship right here on We Digital Productions. Also, a quick shout out to all of our viewers tuning in from BC and out west. Certainly glad to have you along and hope you enjoy the broadcast. The opening kickoff right after these messages.
Two teams meeting up. Two teams with a chance to move to the CJFL Canadian Bowl. And a chance for history tonight as we welcome you in to Acumen Stadium once more from tonight's action from the campus of St. Clair College in Windsor, Ontario. Justin Prince alongside Badia Quas as these two teams look to see who takes on the winner of the Prairie Conference Final coming up. The pressure is on for both of these sides. St. Clair coming off their first OFC title since 2017. Okanagan coming off heartbreak just a year ago and looking to move forward after making the semifinal for the first time since the 2000s. We're glad to have you with us. We're underway from Windsor, Ontario. And a short kick and a quick tackle to start things up for the night. A quick play around the 40-yard line or so. A small boot coming from the kicker that time, Connor Rafferty.
And right off the hop, you already see they're not going to kick it to their special teamers. Both these squads, Justin, have excellent special teamers, and they're going to keep them away. In this case scenario, they're not going to kick to O'Shea, and I'm pretty sure Okanagan's going to try to stay away from Dante Lewis.
Tonight's referee and official crew, Alex Jemmy, working with Devin Mickelbro. Rob O'Shea is part of the crew, as well as Scott Berry, Rob O'Shea, Taylor Mickelbro, along with Nick Hayhow and Kirk Hayes. First drive setting up for the Okanagan Sun. Top offenses in the country. Starting off short on the far side. Trying to push forward to the sideline. Brought down to around the 50-yard line. A quick play to start.
Yeah, a quick little hitch right to the outside. They try to get some leverage. You'll see here on the replay. Quick throw right off the get-go. They got to get some blockers and maybe make one guy miss. And they do indeed make one guy miss, and he crosses the 50-yard line. Crosses the 45-yard line and approaches the 50.
That was Noah Bymack. Keep an eye on him tonight. He led the team to receptions, 33 of them, 616 yards, 9 touchdowns. Dominic Britton setting things up, the second-year starter for the Okanagan Sun. 3 in the motion for 1st and 10 for the 49. Going short again, this time on the hitch. Trying to break tackles, knocked out near center field. And another quick play to the same guy, Bymack.
Yeah, and that time it looked like it was initially defended really, really well. The DB had hands on the receiver right off the get-go, but he was able to break initial contact and bring up that second and manageable.
2nd and 5 setting up at the 54. As you look at the sky, here's a look at the weather conditions. 14 degrees Celsius tonight, fairly cool. 24-kilometer-hour wind gusts, 8 kilometers an hour to the southeast currently. Clear blue skies. Keep in mind the wind has died down a bit as this game has progressed so far. Going for the pass again on 2nd down. Over the head of the intended receiver, incomplete. Kobe Mileto as well as Nathan Tawangai were in the vicinity.
Yeah, miscommunication between quarterback and receiver. Receiver looked like he was curling back to the inside. Quarterback threw it to the outside and just off target right there. 2 receivers sort of on in the same area. Pretty sure that's not by design. Either way, it brings up a punting situation.
First punt of the night. This punting unit led by Liam Atwood. Only one returner back, Dante Lewis, who returned 3 returns for touchdowns. 2022 in the OFC. Laid from about the 20. Lewis trying to break away from the sideline. Goes the other direction. Brought down at about the 24, 25-yard line. Start things off for St. Clair's offense.
Yeah, excellent kick. When you can pin a guy all the way to the outside numbers, outside hash actually right by the sideline. Really good job here, which is going to negate big returns because he can only really work his way across the formation. Good coverage from the Sun. Dante Lewis, as talented as he is, can't break 3 tacklers, and now the Saints are going to scrimmage for their first time from their own 25.
Just about 90 seconds into play. Glad to have you with us here on We Did It All. Just Prince Padiquas with you for this CJFL National Semifinal. Andrew Brush setting up at quarterback. 2 backs for the set. Starting things off on the ground. Trying to go towards the right. Quick play. Maybe picked up a yard, if anything.
Yeah, and that tackle was made by Kellen Thomas. And that young man is the one that I know. I talked to Coach Rice, and you'll see Andrew Brush's numbers in the game.
Andrew Brush, in the regular season, 794 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 45 for 92. Keep in mind, it was quarterbacked by committee much of the season.
Yes, but Andrew has taken the lead coming through in these playoffs right now.
Absolutely. Setting things up, 2nd and 10, 25-yard line after the no-yard rush. 3 receivers in motion. Brush looking towards the left. Incomplete, intended for Michael Ryan. That will set up a 2-and-out for St. Clair's first offensive drive.
Yeah, nice coverage on the back end. They really took away any of the verticals, and on that one, when he was trying to hit his big, tall receiver, he had under and over coverage. It would have taken an absolutely perfect throw, and in this case, it just got over, and you'll see the coverage under and over. So good job by the defense taking away that simple little hook route to the outside, and now they're going to force the punt, and it looks like the kicker is going to be set up at around his own 10.
Off and away goes Rafferty. Solid punt. Oh, some contact to center field will draw the first flag of the night. Turn being carried by the playmaker, Mike O'Shea. O'Shea trying to go up the sideline. Has some space to work. Only a couple more to beat. Gets brought down within the 10. But again, 2 players went down at center field before the punt even got returned.
Yeah, and we definitely know this is going to come back. He tackled, the Okanagan Sun tackled the gunner from the Saints, and it negates a return. And mention that, yes, it is Mike O'Shea, and he is a talented return man. Guaranteed the coverage still is a concern there from the coaching staff for the Saints. They do not want to let this guy get to the wide side of the field with that much momentum going forward. So they dodge a huge bullet here, and we're going to get the official call from our head referee, Alex Jemmy, right now, as they are going to walk this thing back.
All the way back it goes. Here's Jemmy.
And you saw the indication, Justin, a holding, and it was like a tackle, not even so much a hold.
I'll set things up at the 38. Here is, look at the play quick.
And at the bottom of the screen, you'll see somebody get tackled, and it just came out of our screen.
So 1st and 10. 38 going for the short pass again. This time complete. Picked up by Tuangai. Getting to about the 45, 46-yard line to set up 2nd and short.
Yeah, and my eyes tell me that the history is going to be these short passes. The way they're set up, they're engaging their blocks right away. They're going to try to get an extended running game by throwing the short passes, and if they can pick up 6 or 7 every single time and bring up 2nd and short, that's exactly what they want to do.
So 2nd and 2, ball spotted at the 46-yard line. 40 in the motion, pump back by Britton. Pump forward again. Looking to pass short again, this time Mileto. Mileto has it up for a first down, brought down at the logo near center field.
And that was the exact play on 2nd down last time that they weren't able to connect on. Yep. In this case scenario, you'll see Bryn, he has a lot of passing yards. And both teams statistically, Justin, are much alike. They throw the ball with efficiency, and they run the ball very, very well. And that's an example of a short little throw, which is in essence an extended run. He's only going to work his way 4 or 5 yards down the field, pop it out there, and get the first down.
More than 2,000 yards in the regular season, 24 touchdowns for Britton in his 2nd year as the starter. Now setting it for 1st and 10. Flags popping up at the line of scrimmage. Britton forced to scramble out of the pocket, throws it away, but again, a flag is down from the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, this is an easy call. This is going to be offside against the Saints. The hard count got them jumping, so they're going to get the 5 yards out of this, and you saw Bryn scramble to his right, and he's going to try to stretch down the field knowing full well an interception isn't going to hurt him. The indication is already that, but we'll get the official call right now.
So move the sticks up 5 yards as a result there. So we're running nearly 5 minutes in. Here's a look at the play once again.
Yeah, and it looked like it was 94 Fanier who got in there. And we got some pressure, but you got to keep some containment on that. You can't let the quarterback get outside the pocket.
1st and 5 now. Inside St. Clair territory. Looking to scramble. Britton has some space to work. Nearly knocks over a man. Spins forward. Nathaniel Norton on the tackle. And now the Sun are shining in good distance.
Yeah, nice little play design here. They take O'Shea and they motion him across on a little jet sweep. They fake inside, and this is a straight quarterback lead. And the quarterback obviously has some athleticism as he works up the sideline. The entire defense sunk inside to the inside run in the sweep action from O'Shea. And you see Britton pick up about 30 yards on the play and work his way right to the 25-yard line.
It was talked about during the week with Castanet that the team felt they had ran better as the season went on towards the later part of the campaign. That was their first run. Looking to pass short yet again. This time played out towards the side. That is Tuangai again picking up a short gain of a few yards.
Yeah, and a simple little, they're going to flood the zone, get more blockers to that side, engage right away, and again, an extended running play. That's a pitch to the outside, and the running back is able to leak out of the backfield and pick up an easy 5 yards there. Good play by the corner to force that back inside and actually make the tackle, but still a 2nd and manageable.
2nd and 5, ball spotted at the 20. First red zone visit of the day. 3 back in the motion, moved back by Britton. Play clock down to 7. Britton scrambles right. Tries to throw in the motion, complete towards the side. That brings him around the 10. Tuangai again, the intended target.
Yeah, flood the zone, and they're going to have a shallow out. They're going to have something going mid-range, trailing, and then they're going to have the deep out on the outside, and that's exactly who he hit here. So you'll see number 1 underneath, and then you'll see number 6 over top of that, and they're going to have an option to it. And that's just good route running and good throw on the run by the quarterback, and that gives them a first and goal.
Give credit to our sideline camera operator, Dan, for being able to track out of the way there. But first and goal, ball spot at the 6, flag already up towards the 3-yard line, brought down around the 2. But again, another flag popping up right as the snap went off.
Yeah, and that came out right away, so I suspect that's going to be some sort of offsides and probably an alignment issue from the Saints. We'll just have to wait for the official call because they did pick up 4 yards and got it all the way to the 1-yard line, so whether they actually accept it or not.
No flag, so picked up the flag.
My guess is that he thought there wasn't an end on the line, but the guy probably reported accordingly, so that after conversation, there's no flag on the play, and now they have it set and goal from the 2-yard line, 1-yard line actually.
Second and goal. This time rolling out of the pocket, wide open, end zone, touchdown, Sun. And Okanagan's on the board in the CJFL National Semifinal.
Real nice play design. You fake hard inside. Everyone's going to buy that you're running an inside running play when you're at the 1-yard line. Boot the quarterback by himself. Leak out the receiver who's lined up as a tight end. Uncovered. Easy pitch, easy catch. Touchdown for the opening score for the visitors.
By Mack on the catch. Now setting things up will be Atwood. Looking to complete the extra point already midway through the first quarter. Kick is up, kick is good. 7-0 Sun at 8 minutes to go in this one.
Yeah, and you'll see here on the replay, the receiver just leaks out from his tight end spot, uncovered. In this case, everyone's committed to that inside run. Easy touchdown. Interesting, though, on the convert, that was a bad snap. It was a low snap, and in the low snap situation, the holder did a great job, Justin, of getting that back up and on so that they could actually convert that. But we have an issue. Somebody is down right now on the field.
Yeah, there is an official who is just picking up time to shoe as well on the play before we can get rolling here. But so far, Okanagan slicing and dicing through the defense of St. Clair early on. This team, keep in mind, led by Travis Miller, a former member of this squad, who from the 2000s campaign, prior to that just after the semifinal round.
A tremendous amount of similarities here. Both coaches, both played for these organizations, have been here for a while, looking to lead their team back to the national championship.
It was mentioned by Coach Miller, the conversation for Kelowna 10, that last year they lost the Cullen Cup. Since then, they've been on a mission. The mission starts with a touchdown tonight. Off and away from the 10-yard line. Dante Lewis on the return. Brought down around the 24-yard line. That will set things up for solid field position to begin. Here's the head-to-head once again. See how close the statistics are. Keep in mind, the regular season, the Sun have 2 more games played in the BCFC compared to the OFC schedule.
Yeah, and they're virtually identical. They're beating teams by average of close to 35 points, 40 points. They both dominated, went undefeated through it. They're ranked number 1 and 2 in the country. Both teams deserve it of being conference champions and playing on this level.
For reference, St. Clair averaged a margin of 38 points, and they scored 80 points twice. They set things up for 1st and 10. Trying to go to Jared Hayes-Williams, complete around the 30. Hayes-Williams tries to break away but can't. Brought down by a swarm of tacklers led by Tyler Turner.
That's a little bit of the same success that we saw Okanagan. Just get the ball out quick, throw it to your receiver, pick up 5, 6, 7, whatever the defense gives you. Big, long throw, strong arm. If this ball was just a little down and on Jared a little, he might have had more balance to sort of make the first guy miss with a little more authority. Either way, good job going up and getting it and picking up 7 yards, bringing up a very short and manageable.
2nd and 3, the spot at the 32-yard line. Approaching 7 minutes to go in the first. Brush looking to pass again, over the head of Ryan again. Incomplete, and another 2 and out.
Yeah, that time I think he might have missed something. I did see Dante Lewis work up the seam there, and I actually saw Enzi Yayut going up the seam, and I think there might have been a chance for something down the field a little bit more as he did overshoot Michael Ryan on the outside, and that's going to bring up a 2-and-out and a punting situation for the home team.
So the punt situation once again brings Rafferty back out. Turman back, O'Shea. Just able to get it off in time. MS O'Bain in the vicinity as the ball blows out with the tiny wind gust and goes out of play around the 50. Here's a look once again at the head-to-head in a different manner in terms of the passing games.
Again, 2 less games. They both are efficient. They're not high completion percentage teams. They do have some talented receivers who can find the end zones. Both teams are going to have an all-Canadian receiver, I'm assuming, at some point.
Yep.
Both teams can run the ball. Now it's just going to see who can expose the other's weakness. If they can find somebody in the passing game that they can get leverage with one of their good receivers.
7-0 Sun the score. 7 minutes to go in this first quarter. You're unweeded at all. Officials all set. Play clock now starting to roll. 3 in the motion. Looking to pass again. Britton stepping forward. Gets it. Able to find Talongai again up towards the middle. And brought down around the 30-yard line for a big pickup.
Well, 3 things have to happen if you're going to throw that deep in-cutting route. Number 1, you have to have great protection, and he gets great protection. The quarterback can see it. Quarterback does a great job of looking off. He looked left the entire way, and it allowed his receiver to drag across the field wide open. He had no one around him on the catch, and they, again, pick up a big chunk on that play, and they move it into the Saints' territory.
This offense, mind you, led by the head coach and offense coordinator, number 1 in offense last year for the position. That time by Mack in position for the catch, can't hold on to it. That sets up 2nd down.
Yeah, and that was better coverage. Shea Winter attacked there, was able to knock the ball out, and if he didn't, he was able to make the tackle right away. But that's good coverage right there, grabbing his arm and not allowing him to haul that in. This is the first 2nd and 10 we're going to see here. See if the Saints can hold them to maybe a long field goal attempt.
Looking for an opportunity to break ahead here. Another pump back by the Sun. Looking to pass this time from around the 40. Trying to break forward, incomplete. Contested coverage, broken up by Holmes on the play.
Tiaj Holmes did a nice job of coming through there, knocking the ball, making a play on it. Again, good protection. Quarterback's able to lean into it, gets a lot of zip on it, but you'll see stride for stride, perfect coverage, gets that left hand across the body. That is textbook. Batted down, knocked it down, did a great job. Now, this here has been one of these situations where the Okanagan Sun, they're going to try this field goal here, but they've done a great job of pinning teams deep even if they don't get this. Their recipe has been playing field position, so expect good coverage should they miss this, but either way, you got a dangerous return man back in Dante Lewis should they miss.
Atwood setting things up for about 40 yards. Able to get it off, way off. Bounces into the turf, and here comes the field position. Lewis takes it out, gets it to about the 2-yard line.
Yeah, and that's going to move out to the 20, regardless of that. But there's the exact coverage. He did not get going. That coverage unit did a great job of getting down. Sure, it was missed. It was a low kick, had no chance of getting up. Automatically, he's going to go to the 20-yard line as long as he breaks that plane of the goal line, which he did. The referee almost got in the way, but very, very sound coverage by the Okanagan Sun. And now they avert any kind of points after that long play on their first down, and now the Saints need to get their offense going and maybe lean on them with some of their big bodies and try to run the ball a little.
Keep in mind the running game seen multiple breakouts. Jonathan Cartier, MJ Doyle Marshall, for example. Doyle Marshall is the back here. This time running for this brush, however, knocked down around the 25-yard line, and 2 players collide off the play. Tempers flaring. That was Jeremy Lengai as part of that play with one of the offensive linemen for the Saints.
First and foremost, that's a power play from the quarterback. He did a great job of picking up 7 yards, but the offensive lineman was driving a defensive tackle 8, 9, 10 yards down the field, and the D tackle didn't like it.
Okanagan, number 97. That's a 15-yard penalty.
And there's the call. That was number 97 for the visitors, Jeremy Elonge, who he got pushed back 8, 9, 10 yards. And you'll see here on the replay, right in our screen, number 97 is getting driven backwards. That is a great block down the field. He didn't like that. He was getting absolutely bullied, and he ends up lassoing the offensive lineman, throwing him down, giving the Saints a first down at the 40.
Setting things up now. 4 wide receiver set, 2 backs once again. This time going forward with the big man. Break through a couple yards. If not, either way, Gerald Pappen tackled quickly there.
Yeah, a nice hard set of the edge by the Okanagan Sun. They really roll up their halfbacks into play there, and they're not going to let you get running up the edge. And that's a good disciplined set from the visitors. And that's going to be tough sledding if they try to stretch this out. I think they got to get downhill a little bit more. But either way, that is a good play by the Sun, holding that edge nice and strong, because that was a very successful play last week for St. Clair.
Indeed, coming up to 4 minutes to go in the first, and a flag coming out of the huddle.
And this is going to be illegal participation. They had too many men in the huddle.
Down.
And he ran off. So once they had 13 men in the huddle, you can't start the play with that, and that is going to obviously move them back a little bit, and it's going to be a 2nd and 15. You're already behind the chains at 2nd and 10. But you don't have too many plays designed for 2nd and 15. In this case, you're going to need a player to make somebody miss. As you see, Coach LaChance asking what's going on here. He wants a discussion.
And now coming onto the field of play to discuss things with Alex Jemmy. And he is not happy. Oh, and now it's starting to get a little bit heated there. Again, that is head coach Michael LaChance. Now backing away, and now...
Well, because he would like to talk to the white hat, Mr. Alex Jemmy, and then somebody else is coming in to talk. The conversation is going to be with Coach LaChance and with Coach Jemmy, and he just wants to talk to Alex about something. And in this case scenario, look like, and there comes a flag, and that's going to be a bench penalty against Coach LaChance.
Coach LaChance is not happy. Several different volunteers, as well as one of the coaches, coming to back things away.
And see, this is part of my concern when you have a mixed crew from out of town. These referees don't necessarily know each other's mannerisms, so to speak. I would much prefer if we had a crew. I don't care where that crew comes from, if they stay together. But you have an outside official, and now Coach LaChance gets an objectionable conduct, and it's going to be a 10-yard penalty. So it's now going to be 2nd and 25. And I guarantee you, I know exactly what Coach LaChance was thinking. He was trying to talk to Coach Jemmy, or to Alex Jemmy, and all of a sudden the umpire's coming in and taking the lead. That is not the correct mechanisms. Yep. The umpire's job is not to come in and lead the conversation. It's the white hat's responsibility.
The umpire is Kevin Mickleborough, for reference, from out of town around the Hampton region, or Hamilton region. A father and daughter crew as part of this team tonight. Taylor Mickleborough as well as part of the officiating crew. And now you see those discussions and a couple of the different players from the Suns want to listen in. That's Tyler Going, who's joined in. And it looks like Jemmy has made his plays. He makes his way over to the Suns sideline now.
And I'm not 100% sure why they're having a conference with the other side. But it's just, for me, when we talk about communication from sideline to the officiating crew, I think it's imperative. I think it's imperative that they allow the mechanics to go properly. Ask for the conference, talk to the head referee, and then hear each other out at that point in time. It just looked like there was a little bit of interference. Now, unfortunately, I don't know where this spot is coming from. It now looks like the spot is only a 5-yard added penalty. So I don't know if they picked up the flag, but if they picked up the flag, it should be 2nd and 15, not 2nd and 20.
There is no flag for 13 men in the huddle.
It is there, and now it looks like we can get to playing football again. Technical contact is confirmed over the PA system from the call. 3 in the motion. Brush looking to avoid pressure, breaks out of the pocket, runs for 1 sack, tries to break forward around the 35, whistles blow, and right to the sideline they go.
Good back end coverage. Andrew Brush looked left and then came back to his right, and there was nothing there. And to his credit, he picked up about 6 yards on the run, but not nearly enough for the first down here as the pressure did come. But he stepped up, had his eyes down the field, but now he's tucking in, he's running, and unfortunately just too much to overcome because of the penalty. So I guess maybe to explain the penalty, they were able to just pick the objectionable conduct rather than the 5-yard, which then meant it was second down and 10, or a 10-yard penalty instead of 20. But now you're going to bring up a third down regardless.
Another third down and another punt for St. Clair early. A booming high punt picked up around the 40. O'Shea forced to go back. Swallowed up by a sea of Saints around the 38, 39-yard line.
And that's the excellent coverage that we've seen for the most part from the team here. And you see O'Shea looks like he lost his helmet here. So that was good swarming coverage. A great punt. You never want to kick it between the numbers. He drives this outside the numbers, and you see O'Shea settle in at around the 40. But good initial pressure right off the get-go and hands on him. He couldn't get any momentum going, and he gets wrapped up and tackled at about the 38-yard line. He lost about a half a yard on the play. Good coverage.
So 1st and 10 set up at the 39-yard line. The one back play this time on Garwood right into the defense. The leading rusher not able to get forward for more than a couple.
Yeah, first true designed run to a running back in this case. They try to run just a little bit of an option read, and they hand it off inside. Good pursuit from the linebacking crew, and it was Josh Allen who had first hands on him, and then Tyden Braymiller came in to clean it up for only a 3-yard gain.
Garwood, through the regular season, did pick up 920 yards, 9 touchdowns. He tries to block here for the 2nd and 7. Throw complete. Brought down just around center field for the first down. That time caught by O'Shea.
Yeah, what a great catch. And if the name Mike O'Shea sounds familiar, he is indeed the son of Mike O'Shea, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers head coach. And nice grab going up and getting it in the tackle right away, but nice catch, way to secure the ball, going down to the ground, and he gets the ball set at midfield for the Sun.
Ball spotted at the 55. 1st and 10, approaching 2 minutes to go in this first quarter of play. This time the toss play. Outside, Garwood. Garwood with some running room gets down to about the 36-yard line.
That was just a win by the offensive tackle against the defensive end to that right side. The right tackle was able just to set that edge and turn the man in, and you just see that the running back did not get any kind of pressure to throw him off his track whatsoever, and he was able to get ahead of steam, and like you said, he picked up a big chunk setting them up at the 36-yard line.
1st and 10 once more. Okanagan, their offense roaring so far early in this one. 3 receivers in the motion. Short pass again. This time picked up along the near side. Brought down for a first down on the run after catch. Old guy again on the reception.
Yeah, and by design, this is going to one person and one person only. They're setting up and they're throwing this little flare out, and they're engaging right away. They're out leveraging them by just sheer numbers right now, which is getting them chunk yardage on short passes. That ball was thrown behind the line of scrimmage.
Old guy has been a very busy receiver in the first quarter, to say the least. Run this time coming from Garwood. Garwood trying to cut right. Brought down inside the 20, nearly around the 15.
Yeah, another good chunk pick up there, about 7 yards. They're bringing up a second two, which is going to now keep this whole playbook wide open as we do have an injured Saint. You'll see on the replay, just loss of containment on the end, went a little too wide, and you get bottled up inside, and you do have a player down, and we're just trying to get that number right now.
St. Clair Saint is down on the play.
Looks like it's number 13.
That would be Kenyon Gradden, the 6'4" linebacker. So the first injury stoppage of the game comes at about 40 seconds to go in the first quarter. I have to say, the first quarter has flown by tonight.
It has, and the Okanagan Sun have had some good offensive plays here, and you'll see the stats from Mike O'Shea, very talented. 8 touchdowns on only 28 touches from the receiver spot. That is a tremendous volume percentage when a quarter of your touches are going for touchdowns, not to mention 17.2 yards per catch. That's excellent.
He is a very critical part of this team's offense and special teams unit, as we've seen throughout the night so far. So the injured Saint is now off the field of play. 2nd and 4. Ball spotted at the 17-yard line. The receiver's the motion. This time, the running play. Trying to cut left. Breaking to the outside. Leap forward inside the 5. Flag pops out on the tackle. Garwood with a strong run either way.
Yeah, at the very tail end of the play, it looked like there was a push from the rear, but it clearly was after first down yardage was gained. Too much upfield penetration, not enough gap set, and right there you'll just see the running back get through the line of scrimmage pretty easily, but we're going to get the call from the official.
To the first down.
And right at the
84.
end on that replay, and here's our call
First
from Alex
down.
Jemmy. It was a push from the rear, but it was after yards gained, so you're going to end up a 1st and 10 at the 18-yard line.
1st and 10 situation sets up another red zone visit, the second red zone visit for the Sun tonight. Under 20 seconds to go in the first quarter of play. 5 wide receivers set, 3 back in the motion, looking to pass, Britton lofting it up, end zone, caught by O'Shea, touchdown Sun.
And that's exactly what they try to set up. They throw those quick little hitches right away, and then they run a guy up the seam. If you just pump fake to the outside as Britton did, he's going to find. And again, very talented Mike O'Shea for a touchdown.
And O'Shea keeping up the consistency that made him a star through the regular season for the Sun as they set up for the extra point. Atwood looking to extend the gap to 14-0. Kick is up, kick is good, 14-zip. 5 seconds to go in the first quarter.
And you'll see here on the replay, just pumps a little bit to the left, looks left, and then goes over the top. When you get leverage so many times when you do those quick little screens or those little leak outs from your backs, defenders are going to come up, and you get a defender who gets caught up once. And in this case, that was Billy Patterson Jr. just got flat-footed once, and O'Shea goes right by him. Easy pitch and catch for the Okanagan Sun, who look like they've put together a game plan to attack. Under, and then take your shot over.
Game plan has been working well so far indeed. Keep in mind, on top of the preparation for that, it was mentioned they had practiced in earlier times in the mornings to make sure they were acclimated for the 3-hour time difference. The travel taking throughout Wednesday 4 hours to the Vancouver International Airport, then by plane traveling to Ontario on the Thursday. And now, so far, they have traveled ahead on the scoreboard by 14 points. This time, kicking away, Isaac Wagner. Laid this time by a U. No, make that Lewis. Make Lewis want to break forward. Lewis gets to the 33. Check that. A run either way. It is you. Either way, a solid return to end off the first.
Yeah, very fortunate because he mishandled that off the get-go and he was able to get this thing back. You'll see here on the return that they kick away from Lewis, and Yayut mishandles it, goes right through the wickets, but takes a soft bounce back to him, makes one guy miss, and then is able to work up the right hash and get about 17, 18 yards on the return as they get the ball across the 30-yard line to end the opening quarter.
14-0 the score for the Sun over the Saints. More coming up after this.
Where are you headed?
Just gonna hang out.
If any of your buddies ever pressure you to take a drink, just tell them you promised your dad you wouldn't.
I promise. Love you too, Dad.
They really do hear you. For tips on what to say, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor, where the Okanagan Sun started off strong, leading by 14 here on We Digital. Starting things off for the second quarter, Andrew Brush scrambles right out of the pocket, tries to spin out of the sack attempt, will lose yards and more pushing, falling back. That is Blunt Thomas in the sequence.
That was his own teammate in the celebration. But you'll see here on the scramble, he gets out to the outside. Andrew Brush, if there's nothing there, just throw it away. Don't take the loss. This defensive end is for real. He's a big, big body. What he can't do is he cannot let them get behind the chains this far at 2nd and 15. Throw it away, live to play from 2nd and 10. You have a big enough arm to make plays eventually down the field when the protection sure is up for you, but it broke down a little. Throw it away, keep it 2nd and 10.
So 2nd and 15, ball spotted at the 28-yard line, already a minute into the second quarter. We Digital, glad to have you with us from across the country here for CJFL semifinal action. Three receivers in the motion, Brush the pump fake, this time the rush forward. Marshall losing the ball and picking it back down around the 38-yard line.
Yeah, he drove all the way to the 40. He was driven back after. So his forward progress got him up to the 40-yard line, and that's where it's going to bring up a third down. You'll see here a little draw play, and he has a head of steam. He runs through the first wave of tackles and keeps driving his feet, and he gets right to the 40 before the rally drives him back. The ball never did come out, Justin, but he did do a good job of getting to the 40. But that's the importance of not taking that sack. If he threw it away, they can convert that first down. They got about 12 on that play, but they have to punt from their own end here because it's now 3rd and 3.
So another punt for St. Clair. The offense struggling in the early going for the Saints in this one.
And there's some confusion on the Saints right now because it looks like they're missing at least 2 guys right now.
Now trying to sprint out from the sideline. Nick Trifon also trying to sprint out Josh Allen. Already 13 to go on the play clock. Booted away. Solid punt. Bounces in front of Kamar Bishop. And a flag is down. Flag is around the 39. The ball spotted currently the 30.
Yeah, now, I'd be interested to see on this replay if he touched it because that flag came out for no yards. But we'll see here. It doesn't look like he touched it, so that is indeed going to be the no yards. It'll move up to 5 yards.
Here's the signal.
No yards. Kicking team, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Oh, they're giving him the 15-yard. Yeah, well, probably because he was in the neutral zone when he was trying to catch the ball that hadn't bounced yet. So they're going to enforce the full 15. And now Coach LaChance wants to know why is it the full 15 when he didn't actually touch or catch the ball.
Looks like a clarification coming in. You see the discussion with LaChance and keeping up that discussion with Rob O'Shea.
So here, this is what's seeing. I saw Kirk Hayes signal that there was a touch. So had he touched it while it was in the air on initial contact, the no yards is going to be the full 15 because it hadn't bounced yet.
So 1st and 10 now from about midfield. Incontested traffic intercepted. Picked off. Nick Brankovic.
Yeah, and that's number 2, Billy Patterson Jr., who came up with that interception there. He comes away with it. They trapped the coverage there. They played high with the deep safety, but the half squatted a little bit and then came back over top of it. And you'll see here the quarterback throws right to a spot under some pressure, and it's Billy Patterson who comes from under as they were targeting O'Shea, and he makes a nice hands catch to generate that first turnover from the visitors. And now the Saints have the ball back at the 40, and let's see if they can get some momentum here.
1st and 10 now at the 40-yard line. Looking to pass. Brush Tries to step up in the pocket, breaks out of the sack. Throws a motion to the right, straight to the interception. Picked off on the far side of the field. Up the field goes Turner. All the way to the end zone for a pick six. Touchdown, Sun.
And just when you get the play to get some momentum out of this, you go and you try to do a little bit too much on that, and you see the celebration from the visitors. Pressure comes right away. The big man does get pressure, but Andrew Brush is able to break out of that. And then this time he just short arms it a little bit. He's got to put air underneath that and let his guy run back underneath it. That was clearly underthrown, and an easy return up the sideline for a touchdown by number 21, Tyler Turner.
All the way to the house for Turner. And a chance to make it 21-0 with the extra point. Kick is up. Kick is signaled good. And a 3-touchdown lead for the Sun in this one. What do you do if you're St. Clair now? A big deficit early.
They've had balance all year long, running and throwing the ball. And right now they're not in balance on offense. All they're doing is throwing the ball, and they can't contain number 9 from the visitors, Kellen Thomas, who I was speaking with Coach James Rice, and he said this is a big rush, and he is putting some pressure, and he's getting to Andrew Brush, and he's throwing him off his timing. What you have to do is protect a little better, chip him if you have to, but you have to establish some ground game so you can play action. If you're just going to drop back every single time, Justin, these ends are going to make you pay at some point in time. And, of course, Justin, you can't needlessly throw the ball like that. He made an error. That was just a bad decision by the quarterback.
So the pick six sets up kickoff now. Near dead silent crowd here at Acumen Stadium. Early in the second quarter, approaching 12 minutes to go in the first half of play. Booted away this time by Wagner. All the way towards the end zone. Moved up now by Lewis. Lewis spins out of 2 tackles. Can't break a third. Thrown down by Jacob Bond. Able to break ahead to pick up a few yards there for Lewis.
Yeah, if there is wind, it's slightly in the favor of this Sun kicker right now, and he drove that all the way into the end zone.
We talked a bit about the running game and how it picked up a bit for the Sun at the second half of the season. St. Clair in the head-to-head, did have the bigger numbers, 257 a game in those 8 in the regular season.
Again, both teams have balance. When you can run the ball for 200 yards like the Sun have, they have the balance, but we're not seeing any semblance of run right now from the Saints as we see Coach LaChance on the sideline.
So far, not too many big plays for St. Clair in this one. Going back to the ground game, trying to shuffle ahead, Doyle Marshall. Picking up a couple, getting to about the 20. Tied up there with Thomas.
And the commitment to those kind of runs are going to be the way I think they get back into this game here. You get inside. Yes, he does find some contact there, but he fights through it. You have some big backs who are able to get some tough yards for you. They pick up 4 there. But at the very least, you have your full offense set. You can't just pin your ears back if you're the Okanagan Sun and expect that they're going to rush hard. But we do have a timeout from the visitors right now.
First timeout of the game, in fact, signaled by the Sun. So 1 timeout remaining in the first half. St. Clair still with both of their timeouts. Trade this stoppage. Let's take a look at the receiving. We already mentioned how close the passing is. Remember, 2-game bonus ahead. I think the yards per reception is the most telling, though.
Yeah, and again, in the OFC right now, the Saints were able to run the ball so effectively that these numbers were down just a little bit. And I believe they can throw the ball. Both teams are in around the 200 yards. They complete around 55% of the passes, but there's balance. We do see some balance from the Sun in that they do have a couple decent runs. They've found the end zone a few times. They have been able to play action off of it. Right now, the Saints have been a little bit one-dimensional in the sense that they've been straight drop back, and then when they did run the ball, they picked up 12 on a long run, but unfortunately it was 2nd and 15 when they did have their long run.
So now it's 2nd and 6 at the 20-yard line. Two running back set. Doyle Marshall lined up along with Pappen. Two receivers, shot for the motion. Brush trying to go to Ryan. Whistle brought down either way would be short.
Yeah, good catch on a low throw. Andrew Brush is just a little off right now, and you'll see he's driving the ball, but it snaps too low. And Ryan catches the ball, but once he's down, he's down. He can't advance it. And now it's going to be 3rd down and about 2 yards, and a long 2 from my vantage point. And the Saints are keeping their offense on there now. Are they going to try to hard count them and draw them offside? We'll see.
So far, plenty of punts from St. Clair. To snap and a flag is down. We'll see which way this goes.
Yeah, now the Saints did get the first down there. It did look like it was immediate, so I'm guessing this is an alignment issue. They were offside from Okanagan, would be my first initial impression when you get that right off the get-go. But we'll get the official call here.
Here it comes.
And there you have it. So they're going to get the
offside.
first down.
Okanagan, right side of the line, 5-yard penalty.
Some penalty.
First down.
To the behest of
Right side of the
Tyler
line.
Going,
Two guys over here.
who talks with Jemmy from there, and here's a look at the play. As mentioned, Brush did get ahead.
Yeah, he definitely got enough for the yardage there. But a very aggressive call. Very, very aggressive. You're already down 21 points. I understand that you want to be aggressive, but if that backfires on you, you could be down 28 early in the second quarter.
And 3 wide receivers trying to move from left to right of Brush for 1st and 10 at the 29. Brush trying to throw to Ute. Can't find him up the middle, incomplete.
Yeah, and we're going to get roughing the passer, it looks like here.
A flag is down indeed around the part of the pocket.
Yeah, I believe there was a roughing of the passer there, and it should move the sticks here. But Andrew Brush missed a receiver. There was an opening there. We'll get the official call here.
Here comes Jummy again.
Unnecessary roughness, roughing the passer. Number 9, Okanagan, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, that was number 9. Again, he's been all over the backfield, and you'll see here, Andrew Brush is going to throw it, and it's 2 steps, and it's lowering his head into the quarterback. That's an easy call for the officials. And unfortunately, though, that was a bad throw. If he caught that ball, if he was caught in stride, he might have gone a little bit more. Nonetheless, they have now built themselves out of their own end zone, Justin, so they got a little bit of a drive here with a couple first downs.
First time with significant yard gainage now for St. Clair tonight. Given it 10 minutes to go in the first half. Receiver the motion to the right. Brush looking that way. Throws it away in time. Leaping play complete. Caught around center field. Hayes Williams on the catch this time.
Yeah, and that's what they've been doing a lot of the year, taking what the defense gives you. It is a long throw, but he has a big arm, and he's able to get this thing. Now, I'd like to see maybe a little more zip, but hey, guess what? Your big, tall receiver is going to out-jump him, and he's going to get you a first down a lot of those times. Good job getting it to your playmaker. We've already said Jared Hayes Williams is an all-star. He probably will be an all-Canadian this year. He's that talented.
Already the offensive player of the year, mind you, for the conference. 33 passes, 617 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns this year. And running forward, Brush, running to a wall of tacklers at the chains. Signal going for the first around the 45.
And this is what we saw this year in the playoffs. You lead block, you get an extra power play, you get your linemen moving back, the defensive line backwards, and Andrew Brush uses his size. Now, that was a very good, hard, powerful run. It's going to bring up a second down and about a yard, maybe just under a yard here, but that's exactly what you want to see from your big, strong quarterback.
Here's the look at the line for Hayes Williams. Keep an eye on him. Top screen this time. Breaking through. Brush on the rush. Loses the ball. Picked up off the ground by Yamier Lewis. Able to get the play down to the 25. 35 should say. Able to get more yards on the fumble.
Yeah, and all year long, even myself, Justin, we've been calling it Javier. It's Javier. Yeah. I just found that out today. So Javier does. The ball comes out, but Johnny on the spot here. Javier picks up the ball and is able to pick up 5 more yards on the play, and now it's first down and 10 at the 35-yard line. This is the recipe that the Saints have had all year long. Ground and pound, take your shots over the top, get your playmakers involved that way. This is the kind of drive you got to answer after the mistake that you just had.
First and 10, ball spotted at the 35-yard line. Looking to the ground game this time. Rushing forward, that is Lewis again. And a quick gain of a couple makes it second medium.
Yeah, and commit to it. In this drive, you can see they are committing to it. They're trying to get them, and this is what's going to happen. When your defense is on the field for that long, they'll get tired. Now the Saints have a chance to talk to their defense, get some things figured out for their next defensive set. So the Saints offense has helped out the Saints defense by mounting a little bit of drive here. Maybe this is 3-down territory. We'll see how it unfolds, but it's second and at least manageable at 7.
Ball spotted at the 32. Rush passes out of the pressure. Down the field, incomplete. Intended for Lewis. And that will set up 3rd down.
Yeah, and Lewis had outside leverage on him, and the ball was just fractionally underthrown to the inside here. Dante Lewis, when you have a speedy guy like that, and he does have outside leverage, that ball's got to be thrown to his outside. That, to me, is a good no call. That was clearly back underneath there, and that is why there was no flag there. That's a good bit of officiating, good no call, good effort, but you just got to get that ball to the outside and let Dante Lewis flex out. But you're going to see the Saints try their own 40-yard field goal.
Alejandro Van Holten on the coverage, and this will set up field goal attempt 40 yards from Rafferty. Kick is up and away. Some spiral to it. Kick is up, kick is good. St. Clair is on the board, 21-3.
Good, and that's exactly what you want to see after you make a big mistake. You get some points, you get some momentum from your offense. Maybe wear their defense down just a little bit.
So now with St. Clair on the board, it's the question of can they sustain the momentum? They picked up their first major chunk yardage of the game on that offensive drive.
Well, here's the deal. The Okanagan Sun are going to scrimmage after the field goal at the 35-yard line. If you can force a quick 2-and-out and bring that defense that was just on for about 6 minutes back onto the field for the visitors, maybe you can spring one for a touchdown and lean on them again. But now the defense, see if they've made a couple adjustments to try to force a quick 2-and-out.
Setting things up, Britton. First and 10 to the 35, going to the ground game, Garwood. Garwood able to get himself to around the 41-yard line for second and about medium.
Yeah, just need to see the D linemen squeeze things down just a little bit. They're getting some penetration, but they're running out of their gap fits. They got to squeeze things down and at least make a wall nearer the line of scrimmage there. And if they do that, then the running back will have to bounce outside where your speedy defenders can make a play.
Here's a look at Garwood's stat line. As mentioned, 920 yards, 92 yards per game in the regular season this year. Passing this time, Britton, middle, bounces out, incomplete. Low guy, the intended target. The ball is squirting out on the tackle attempt.
Yeah, and this was behind the receiver. Receiver can't do much. It was definitely behind him. He had to turn and try to get it. Even if he was able to handle it, there was immediate contact by, it looked like Nathaniel Norton, and he broke that up regardless, and now it's going to bring up a punting situation. Exactly what you wanted to see if you're the Saints.
So the quick 2-and-out. Rarity for the Suns so far tonight. Only one return man back, Dante Lewis. Approaching 5 minutes to go in the first half of play in this one. The punt just gets away. No flag around the punter. Lewis watches it bounce its way to the 40. Picks it up at the 40. Flag pops up on the pickup around the 45, 46-yard line. A lot happened there. A near block at one end. The ball rolling 10 yards at the other.
Yeah, in favor of the Saints, and they're going to add on 5 yards here for the no yards call. So the Saints are going to have really good field position here after this explanation from the officiating crew.
Discussion coming in. Taylor Mickleborough with Alex Jemmy. Just trying to confirm their respective call here. Again, 5:22 to go in the second quarter. CJFL semifinal action. Winner moves on to the CJFL Canadian Bowl November the 12th to take on the winner of tomorrow afternoon's tilt between Saskatoon and Regina. And a lengthy discussion for this on which way this goes.
Well,
they are pointing St. Clair's way.
Yeah, I don't understand why we're taking so long on a no yards here unless they're going to go back to the spot.
Here's the call.
No yards, 5-yard penalty against Okanagan. Holding against St. Clair return team. First down.
Okay, that's why there were 2 flags on the play, so you're going to get a hold. So you'll see here, the reason why that wasn't called roughing is number 20 pushed 4 into the kicker. Can't block him into the kicker. So the no yards is going to end up being a 5-yard loss after this walk-off here. But there was a hold at some point after the no yards, so you're likely going to get them around the 35-yard line.
Nick Biami, I believe, was a part of that, and that's where we've seen Taylor Mickleborough, the back judge's flag, pop out. 1st and 10, now at the 35. Quick pump, quick rush. To the ground goes Doyle Marshall. He tries to shove ahead. Can't do so. Brought down around the 37-38-yard line.
And just a little bit delay. You just need a little bit better of maybe extending up to the linebacker level. They're not climbing up a little bit higher. Now on this one, it's a little bit of a delayed draw, so you're hoping the linebacker drops off. But nonetheless, a good fill from one of the linebackers negating any more than that 3-yard pickup.
That makes it 2nd and 7. We're approaching the 3-minute warning in this matchup. Lewis setting up to the right of Brush. Hayes Williams working as well with Javier Lewis. Knocked down on the pass, incomplete. Piece of that from the lineman. Knocks it down. That time, Thomas again. And a flag is down.
Yeah, and this, I'm not sure who they're going to call this on, but it could be a taunting call against the very player who made the play. That's number 9, Kellen Thomas. He bats the ball, makes a play, but he didn't stop talking, so this is going to give them a first down here. And an unnecessary penalty here.
Indeed, the call coming in.
He's too good of a player, Justin. You make a great play like that. You bat the ball down here. You see him make the batting ball. All right, great, no problem. You don't need to say anything. He's now gets right into the face of the offensive lineman, and it continued beyond that. You made a great play. You're about to get the ball back. Walk back to your huddle and leave it alone. Now we're going to get a conference from, it looks like Miller. Coach Miller wants to talk to Alex Jemmy to find out what exactly was that.
See that on the upper part of your screen. Defensive coordinator for this team is Eli Haynes. It's also a part of that discussion, appears, as they walk back to the sideline.
Yeah, you can sort of tell by his hands gesture. He's saying, hey, they're going back and forth with each other. You can't call one or the other. But in this case, I almost disagree. Penalize one, and it might send a message to both. And whoever maybe was the last one chirping gets that penalty. It's a retaliation oftentimes in hockey that gets you the extra penalty. Yep. In this case scenario, those extra words cost you.
So as a result, the ball now is at the 48 for St. Clair. Rush looking to pass it, avoids the swat this time, throws it away to an interception. Picked off at midfield, Tyler Turner with his 2nd interception of the game, and it's Sun ball.
Yeah, and I want to see if Brush's hand was hit or the ball was tipped, because it did not come out cleanly. We'll see here on the replay, it was tipped. You see it fluttering, and that was number 9. Again, that is Kellen Thomas, who is influencing the play. The ball did not look like it came out clean, and indeed it did not. Great view from our camera crew, picking up that tip ball, resulting in a 2nd interception. But this big man is making a difference. He made up for his words by making a play.
He, along with Romero Reed, both all-stars this season, had combined for 24 sacks. The regular season, Thomas has been the big influencer today. on the ground. The rush forward, Garwood, picks up a few yards, will set up ball around the 51-yard line.
Yeah, good sound defense there. They were able to hold up and only pick up 3 yards, so they squeezed down just a little bit. Garwood was not able to get his feet really motoring through the line of scrimmage there. But again, the turnovers are going to play a big impact on the game like in any football game. And right now, Okanagan's trying to cash in on their second one.
Weiberg this time sets up alongside, gets the ball, and the handoff doesn't go anywhere. 3-6 running for it, setting up third down.
Yeah, in this case scenario, I think that the quarterback made the wrong read. He should have pulled this ball because you see the end coming hard heel line. I think he should have kept that ball instead of handed off, and he might have had a little room on the left sideline. But you're going to see a punt, and this is exactly what Okanagan has made a killing on this year. Punting, pinning the ball very, very deep, and letting the defense create havoc. So we'll see if Dante Lewis can actually make something more and get them out of their own end zone, because I'm suspecting this punt could sail all the way back into their end zone.
Already within the final 3 minutes of the second quarter of play. And the whistle blows. They ran out of time on the play clock.
Yeah, and that's in this case scenario, it's going to cost them quite a few yards here because it's under the 3 minutes. We'll wait for the official call.
Time count violation on the kicking team. It's a 5-yard penalty, third down.
So the ball is moved back to around the 54-yard line. Keep in mind, the clock had started rolling. It was prior to the 3-minute mark. So this now moves them to a punt from around the 40. Signals going forward. 14 on the play clock this time. Taking their time to set up the punt, now off and away. A long punt. Lewis picks it up at the 10. Takes it slow. Tries to cut ahead. Breaks 2 tackles. Brought down by the third once more. Inside the 25, around the 23.
Okay, in a perfect world, if you're the Saints, you can get a few first downs, maybe steal 3 points here, because it looks like you're going to get the ball to start the second half because the visitors did indeed have the opening kickoff. So we'll see if they can get out of this half, maybe shrinking this lead.
That's going to be the question, and something I think Don Papa will have a thought of as well. The halftime report with Don Papa coming up at the conclusion of this half. So 1st and 10, ball spotted at the 23-yard line. 2:34 to go in the first half of play. 2 receivers in the motion. Going to the ground game to start things off. Right into the tackles. And a quick rush forward for a gain of a couple on the play. That time Cartier on the touch.
Yeah, and he picked up about 4 yards here. Looked like he had a little bit more of a seam, but that was a good job by the outside linebacker to squeeze in and get the ankles of Chartier, who ended up only picking up about 3.5 yards.
So that makes it 2nd and about 7, the 26-yard line. Sancor taking their time in the huddle. Like 10 seconds to set up at the line of scrimmage. Down to 5 on the play clock. And it looks like they look for the timeout. Yes, they take their first time out of the half. They were running out of time to get the play off.
Yeah, there's no point in putting yourself in an unfavorable position here. You can't take them with you. Might as well use the timeout. See if you can get the right play call. Get some information into your quarterback, what to look for, what to see. But I'm going to tell you right now, what's more important is going to be they have to protect Andrew Brush. They have to maybe drive away from the wide side of the field a little bit because big number 9 is getting his hands and his body in the way. So I would suspect maybe start targeting the short side of the field a little bit and try to really overload to that side where maybe you can get a little bit of a quick bubble out and in space, and maybe one of your athletes can break a tackle and maybe find the first down.
Andrew Brush now bringing in the orders from the sideline from Coach LaChance. Again, 2nd and 7. Ball spotted at the 26-yard line. 2:11 to go in the first half. Play clock now rolling. 2 back set once again. Doing the motion. Pressure coming from outside the pocket. Throw going long, incomplete. Now set up 3rd and long, deep in St. Clair territory.
Little bit weird there. I really think, I thought Jared Hayes-Williams should have continued on this route, and it looked like he just sort of stopped. Now, maybe it was a little bit high for him. I couldn't really tell. Again, a missed opportunity because Jared Hayes-Williams was open there and clearly enough for the first down. And now you're going to have to punt with just over 2 minutes left, and the visitors are likely going to have good field position.
Quick punt away. Or on the trajectory, picked up by O'Shea. O'Shea going to the other side. Tackled, brought down. Yummy right there to bring it down around center field.
Great mechanics all around. Snap, punt, coverage. This is textbook if you're going to watch from the outside here. You're going to have a contained man who maintains his leverage on his defender. He stays outside. 14's trying to block him, maintains his leverage, fights off that, and makes the tackle. That's excellent coverage.
So with that, from midfield, 1st and 10 at the 55, under 2 minutes to play. Britton looking to loft it down the side. One-handed grab incomplete. Not able to hold on to it was O'Shea.
Landed hard on his shoulder. You see him getting up and just sort of shaking that one off. A pretty good coverage there. That had to be an absolutely perfect throw, and it just got a little bit away from him as it started sailing. But you see that he was stride for stride with him, and he had to make a one-handed circus catch.
So that makes it 2nd and 10. Flicks a couple seconds off the clock. This time they go short. Play this time to Ogai. Able to get himself towards the sticks. Solid pickup on the running and the catch and run.
Yeah, he's going to be about short, but he picks up enough to make it a definite go-for situation with 1:40 left here. Again, those quick outs where you're going to get the blockers right away. You got to make the tackle on the first hands that get on him. They don't, and they pick up a solid 9-yard pickup.
So 3rd and about 1. And a timeout is called by St. Clair. That is their 2nd this half. They look to regroup, see if the Sun commit to this. Now St. Clair without any timeouts the rest of this half.
Now, I know how aggressive Coach Morency is in these situations. He's going to get every guy in a gap, and they're going to try to obviously take away anything inside on a quarterback sneak or some sort of quick hitter. Are the Sun going to take a calculated gamble and maybe fake inside? They did it at the goal line, and they only needed one, and they had that naked boot and a wide-open receiver. Are they going to try something here, knowing full well they have an 18-point lead right now? Possibly. It might be just that right situation. I don't know if they want to give up the momentum, but you could find something a little tricky here if you want it to be super aggressive for the visitors.
So it looks like the Sun are committing to try and go for it. High formation. 2 running forward, trying to push ahead. Able to get more than enough there for the first down inside the 45.
And yeah, nothing tricky there. This wedge forward, good surge from the offensive line, and the quarterback just gets behind his center and easily converts that. And now with 1:36 and a timeout in hand, they got plenty of time.
It's time to work with for the 5 wide receiver set. Clock now rolls. Looking to pass short again. Ridden this time. Picked up by Mack. Play goes out of bounds. Pick up a couple yards on the catch and run.
And those are the kind of plays you have to make on the outside. If they're going to throw those quick ones, you have to come up and make the tackle, and that was Winter who came up off his block and made the tackle for about, looks like a yard, maybe 2-yard gain. That's what they weren't doing a little earlier. The first guy has to bring them down, but don't be surprised if they try that little hitch and go where they fake that little pop to the outside and they slip a guy up the seam.
2nd and 8. Ball spotted at the 41. Britton. Complete. Picked up around the 35. First reception of the day for Farrell Cam Kenfak. And that gets it around the sticks.
Yeah, and again, good combination. They go out and then come back underneath. Ball's on time. Tackler is there, but you see the big receiver pushes forward for about 2 or 3 extra yards, and he brings it into a first down situation.
Sticks indeed are moved on the play for 1st and 10. Now at the 33-yard line. Down to the final minute of the first half of play. Looking to go short again. This time, Mileto with the reception. Tries to spin out of a sea of Saints. Brought down around the 25-yard line. 2nd short.
That's super effective. If they can't stop it, you're just going to keep going back towards it. Those quick little hitters on the short outs where the receivers are engaging right away, the rush can't get there. And ultimately, they're picking up good yardage on those plays, and they can bring up a 2nd down and about 3.
So 2nd down. Looking to roll out of the pocket. Britton trying to do it with his feet. Looks like he got there indeed. To move the sticks, 42 seconds to go.
And he was able to get out of bounds, which is going to save some of the clock here, as they ran a little play-action bootleg. And the quarterback clearly had a two-way go of it. He realized that they had the back-end coverage properly there, and he was able to easily get to the out-of-bounds and pick up the first down.
1st and 10, ball spotted now at the 22. Sun commanding 21-3 advantage so far. Defensive back, looking to throw. Britton, middle, complete, breaking a tackle. Mileto trying to get to the sticks, marked down shy of the end zone for 1st and goal.
And they're going to hurry up to the line of scrimmage and not let the defense sort of make many substitutions, if any, here.
Defense scrambling to get in position for 1st and goal at the 1. I formation. Britton hands it off. Trying to dive in. Garwood, touchdown, Sun. And the Sun, they shine ahead to a 27-3 lead.
And that is exactly what you want if you're the Okanagan Sun. The Saints had the ball with 2:20 left and possibly could have shrunk the lead a little, but they were unable to. You'll see on the replay, he only needed a yard. He's still up, and he falls forward across the goal line and picks up a hard-earned yard for the touchdown.
So the extra point now being set up within the final 30 seconds of this quarter. Signal forward for a 28-3 advantage. And Okanagan is roaring and rolling so far in this one. That sideline with a lot of smiles, to say the least, right now. Some of them taking pictures even.
Yeah, they're capitalizing off of good field position and simple execution. They were able to move the defense back and get them on their heels with those short little throws. And then as soon as they come up and they hit those sort of curl routes behind them, that's what got them all the way down to the 1-yard line. They're able to dunk to the outside. Next thing you know, you hit him with a curl route over the middle, and that dig can't be covered. Wide field, and he turns it up the field, makes one guy miss, and gets it to the 1-yard line. It is textbook right now. Outside, short passing, like the run, control the line of scrimmage, get yourself in second and manageable, and capitalize when you get a chance. And they've done everything correct outside of that one turnover, which didn't cost them.
Yeah. To return men back, Ute and Lewis again. Lewis on the far side, Ute on the near side. They aim for Ute this time. And he muffs it again. Picks it up around the 10. Moved up around towards the 20, down to about maybe the 19-yard line. So 23 seconds to work with for St. Clair. A lot you have to think that could be discussed in the locker room. We'll take a look at the play.
Yeah, and the little mechanics of this, catch the ball in the air. You can't get any momentum going forward. Now, I will say this, we have a unique situation today. They're actually using different balls on each offense right now. The Suns are using a Nike ball, and the Saints are using a Wilson ball. So that kickoff is with that Nike ball. So maybe it's just factoring into a little bit of the handling it on special teams.
So the ball spotted down at the 20-yard line for the Chains. Brush finding Hayes Williams. He's been quiet tonight. Tries to wake up with a run out towards the side. Marked down for enough to move the Chains with 17 seconds to go.
And that's exactly what Okanagan's been doing. Quick hitters to the outside, get a couple blockers on your guy, and pick up positive yards, and that's exactly what happened here. They were able to pick up 12 yards and get a first down. They're going to need more of that, and they're going to need to be able to sustain some long drives if they're going to get in this game.
1st and 10 now from the 32-yard line. One wide receiver to the far side, 4 to the near side. Brush taking it short, complete. Trying to jet ahead. Lewis knocked out of bounds. That one again near the sticks once again. Now 9 seconds to go.
Now, is this a product of maybe Okanagan saying you can have all those underneath routes, we're not going to let you get over the top? Yes, possibly. But I think that's still there because that's the alignment. The Sun have not really changed their defensive set. Get it out quickly. Get some blockers out in front. Get your guy in space, and they pick up 8 yards there.
See Lewis trying to make his way all the way to the sideline to get the clock stopped. Does get it for 2nd and 2 for the 40. Brush elects to hand it off this time. Doyle Marshall can't spin away. Whistles blow it dead with 4 seconds to go for maybe a couple. And it looked like there was a slip there, notice, at the handoff.
Well, yeah, he clearly lost his footing on this play here, and you'll see on the replay he just lost the footing, and he was unable to get any momentum, and now that's going to bring up and it looks like Okanagan is going to take their time out here, and it's going to bring up a 3rd down and 2. So my guess is you're going to keep the offense on the field here, and maybe let Andrew Brush take the snap, get deep, and worst case scenario, throw it out of bounds up one of the sidelines, even the short sideline. Make sure there's no interception and kill these 4 seconds.
Reminder that coming up, the halftime report with Dom Papa. Be sure to tune in for halftime coverage here on We Digital. Again, glad to have you with us from coast to coast. CJFL football. Could be the last play of the half here. Brush sets up with 1 back. 4 wide receivers. And flags pop up immediately before the throw even gets away.
Yeah, you had the right guard rocking in his stance, so you're going to get a procedure call, so they're going to back up 5 yards. I think they're going to have to reset the clock, which they just did, back to 4 seconds.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty, repeat 3rd down.
Procedure will make it a little bit further back for 3rd and medium. Either way, still a lengthy amount of yardage to pay dirt.
Yeah, and again, I don't think the play call or mindset changes. You're trying to kill the 4 seconds here without turning the ball over. You don't want to line up your punt team and have a punt sail over a block or something like that. You want this ball going forward, and if you have to throw it out of bounds, you throw it out of bounds.
Try this again. They hand it off to Doyle Marshall. Able to cut ahead to around the 45. That's enough for the 1st down, but that will end off the 1st half regardless. A 28-3 score for the Okanagan Sun over the St. Clair Saints. Watching coverage of the CJFL semifinal. The Sun roaring to the locker room, up by 25.
What can milk do? Well, it can turn you into a morning person. it can help fuel some pretty tough stuff. And it can definitely make cartoons funnier.
No, it can't.
Oh, well, it can have a little edge. But come on, even kiddies love it. It'll keep up with you at any age. It makes engines whir and creme brulee cremmy. It's one of the easiest labels you'll ever read. And anything that makes this happen is pretty special. In fact, what can't milk do?
My God. Welcome back to Acumen Stadium in beautiful Windsor, Ontario on the St. Clair College campus. CJFL semifinal football action here on We Digital Productions. Okanagan Sun, obviously the real deal, folks. An outstanding first half for the visitors as they lead the St. Clair College Saints 28-3 after 2 quarters of play. You know, when you have big games like this, there's always special people that come to the stadium or whatever, the arena. And tonight, no different here at St. Clair College at the Acumen Stadium. We have a special guest all the way out from British Columbia. Of course, he's following the British Columbia team, but he's also the Deputy Commissioner of the entire CJFL. Mr. Paul Short is with us, and thanks for doing this with us, Commissioner Short. And well, first let's talk about this game. Deputy Commissioner, yeah. How about if I just go with DC? Yeah, DC. Just Paul. Paul, okay. I'll get it right somewhere. I was excited. We're excited about this game. It's still, we still have another half of football. By no means is this thing over with. I've seen St. Clair come back, and they've got the personnel. But just the same, Okanagan, we knew it was going to be very good. Your thoughts about this game and how important it is to the league and where everything's going right now?
Oh, it's huge. Anytime we can get the conferences together to play semifinal or Canadian Bowl, I think it just grows football. And tonight, with the crowd that size that's here and just the excitement around, it's just a good showcase for junior football.
Yeah, and that's what this is, really all about. Here in Ontario, anyways, thanks to St. Clair College, there's a little bit of a resurgence going on. And you look at what they've done here with this stadium, getting something like this in the fold. And I'm not sure what it's like out west, but what kind of message is that for the CJFL, and how much can it help?
It's going to be huge. There's lots of talk about trying to associate some of the teams. They talk to their colleges in their areas, and I think the example that's here now is going to encourage them more and more and more to go reach out and talk and find out if they can be associated in that way. But no, this is tremendous, and the Sun talking to them, they've just been in awe all weekend.
Yeah, I've had a chance to talk to Coach Miller before the game and GM Nagy of the team, and they seem very surprised at how well they've been treated here. Actually, they arrived on Thursday, and they said it's been nothing but tremendous hospitality. But I mean, I'm not surprised with it because that's St. Clair in a nutshell. St. Clair just does everything at a high level and a very nice. But again, I think stuff like this, and when you get teams cooperating like that, and St. Clair, I'm sure didn't mind taking the lead and setting up, and really this is how things should be done.
Absolutely, and I think teams want to compete, and you have that. They butt heads, on the football field, and they try to one-upmanships in some things, but overall, I think everybody wants to cooperate to make sure the game grows, and everybody that's involved can walk away saying that was the best time of my life.
Yeah, and obviously it's been a good experience so far for Okanagan, and we're very happy to hear that. We got to go a little easier in the second half and let our guys, but that's just something biased on my part. I've covered a lot of Memorial Cups at the OHL, CHL level, and I always ask them when I'm covering it, they bring 3 leagues together to play in one tournament. This is kind of the same idea. How tough is that to do, Paul? You got the British Columbia, you got the Prairies, you got, of course, Ontario. How tough is it to get the conferences all together and working on the same page?
I don't want to say it's difficult, but there are challenges with it. The biggest part of it is we go to the host city, and St. Clair had a week to put this together. Regina and Saskatoon play tomorrow. They're going to have 2 weeks to put a Canadian Bowl together to play the winner of this game. So there's a lot of challenges that everybody trying to work together, and every year we're striving for that. We're getting closer and closer. But again, the competition thing comes in, and you got to keep reminding them that it's just a bunch of young guys playing football for the time of their life. So let's make it an experience that they'll always remember.
We're talking to Deputy Commissioner of the Canadian Junior Football League, Paul Short. And Paul, you mentioned the guys and the players having fun and playing. I think, is it fair to say that it would be nice to see the CJFL developing players even for like the CFL?
Oh, absolutely. And every year there's opportunities for our graduating guys and some of the younger guys to go to CFL camps. Every year some of our graduates are invited to the CFL evaluation camps. So there are those opportunities, but we're that in-between league to where some can step into the CFL and others are looking for, play college football north of the border or south of the border. And I think that's the growth part of it for them. And we do have those opportunities. But we also want our players to graduate and get back into the community and contribute to, be the leaders of the future, really.
Yeah, and that's a great thing to mention, and I'm glad you mentioned it because we always talk about giving back, and that's certainly very important. What do you think is going to happen here in the second half? What's you know Okanagan very well. I know maybe not St. Clair as much, but like I said, there's still a lot of game here.
Well, 30 minutes is a long time in Canadian football, but I saw the Sun play 3 times this year live, and all 3 games, their second half was the best halves they played. So it'll be a challenge for the Saints, but they're not 8-0 for nothing.
No, they're a good team, that's for sure. Paul, great to meet you, and hope you enjoyed your time here in Windsor. Absolutely. Certainly, we hope to get you back some point, but. Biggest thing is we wish you continued success with the CJFL, and really I think a lot of good things are happening. I think people are really starting to take notice, so kudos to you and the rest of the gang. They're running the show here.
I appreciate that, Dom. Thank you. And we're all striving to make everything better. Just, again, the experience for all these guys and everybody involved. It's got to put a smile on your face at some time.
I think everybody's smiling right now, so good stuff. Paul Short, one of the good guys for sure of the Canadian Junior Football League. A quick timeout, and we'll check in with the St. Clair College Saints. Ron Segan is here with us, so we'll have a chat with him. You're watching the CJFL semifinal game here on We Digital Productions. Continue on with our halftime report here at Acumen Stadium on the campus of beautiful St. Clair College. The Saints are in tough tonight, folks. The CJFL semifinal game with the Okanagan Sun finds the Sun leading 28-3 at half. As promised at the break is the guy that really makes this ship go, and that's the man that works hard behind the scenes, Ron Segan, Vice President here at the college. He's got a lot of titles, so I'm not even going to try to go through them, but he really leads the sports, the athletics area. And as you just heard Paul Short say, the Saints had a week to prepare for this national semifinal game, and tell you what, it's run just smoothly. And Ron, despite the score, you have to be really pleased with what you've seen here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, since last week when we won the OFC championship, it's all gravy at this point, and you got to move quickly to stage a national level football game and prepare for a very, very good football team to visit your campus, and I think one is visiting right now.
Yeah, Okanagan is full value, that's for sure. Before we get more into this game and doing all that, Ron, you mentioned hosting nationals and things like that, and what a month of October for St. Clair College athletics. And I know we chatted periodically throughout the month, and I sent a message once when the Saints won 3 Ontario championships last Saturday, and I just said to you, boy, Ron, the hard work's paying off here.
Yeah, it's been a pretty special we kind of coined it Super Saturday last week with the 3 championships, and we were confident in Thunder Bay today with the cross-country program to get the 4th one, and we're not done here yet. We're crazier things have happened, and we've been a good football team all year. We knew when the West brought their champion out here, it would be a tough go, and it is. So, it's really, really been a rewarding 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, I think already the year on a whole, when all this started back in, we'll say late August, early September anyways, and you look at the teams, how they're excelling, the recruiting that's going on, the coaching that these athletes are getting now at the college. I don't want to say it's come full circle here, because I know you're pretty good, and I know you're not just going to be satisfied. You want to probably keep this thing going and maybe even build it up more if it can happen. But I guess just how significant is this for the university and putting them where you want this to go?
It's yeah, I mean, the more successful you are, the more you want to grow it. And we've got 280 varsity athletes this year. Football's a big roster. The teams are collaborating together. They support one another. It's a really nice scene that's happening here at the college. Our men's basketball program is going to be really, really well. We had a big crowd for opening night, and volleyball is going to be exciting too. So it's tough to field 16 good teams, Dom, and we're really, really close to being good at 16 sports. So it's the support of our corner suite. It's the support of a lot of people. We had great fans turning out here tonight with 1,000 people paying at the gate every night. Really, really helps the program. And as far as preparing for this game, our coordinator, Matt Sykes, who, runs with Brendan a basketball team and staged this game, has done a great job. So as much as our athletic department's really, really tired right now, it's a good tired, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I know exactly what you mean by that, because I can say not to
pretty tired yourself,
not to take the shine off St. Clair. I can tell you my crew's pretty tired, but they're loving this stuff as well, and just being a part of it is a great thing for sure. Quick question, Ron. Obviously, we got another 30 minutes of football. You mentioned it. This is not over yet. Again, I think just important for the Saints, I think, to have just a good half of football here.
Yeah, I think we got to run the ball a little bit and get that defense off the field. And easy to say from here, but we've got a lot of good talent, and there's nothing to lose. So, this coaching staff, they just put it behind them and go for it. See what happens.
Got a good crowd here, still behind them. So, Ron, congrats on everything. Job well done. Continued success. And again, I know I can speak on behalf of We Digital. We're loving this stuff with you. So
it's a great partnership with We Digital, Dom, and we got a lot more to do between now and March. So. Everyone who supports Saints Athletics, we really appreciate it.
Stuff. Ron Segan doing an outstanding job here at St. Clair College. A quick timeout. When we come back, Badia Kwas will join me. We'll look at those first half stats for you. You're watching the CJFL semifinal championship game here on We Digital Productions. A beautiful night here in Windsor, Ontario. Halftime score, Okanagan 28-3 over the Saints. Badia Kwas, our color commentator, joins me here on the halftime report. We knew this was going to be tough, Badia, and Okanagan's full value. Let's put up the numbers right away so we can get ready for second half action. But you could see some of the key stats here. Receptions obviously very big in favor of Okanagan, even reception yards. Obviously, the score speaks volumes about the stats.
100%. This is sheer domination from start to finish. They've been able to control the line of scrimmage, get pressure on the quarterback, create turnovers. The Sun have earned a 28-3 lead.
What do the Saints have to do here, Buddy?
They got to keep their identity. They got to stay balanced. They're not committing to the run enough. They got to get the ball in their running backs' hands. They got to be in second and manageable and get it in their playmakers' hands early.
We're going to let you get back in the booth with Justin. Great job, as always. That's our halftime report. A quick timeout. We come back to call of the second half. This is CJFL football on We Digital.
Welcome back, everyone, to Windsor. So far, so strong for Okanagan, 28-3 as they'll kick it off to St. Clair to start off this second half. Just Brits alongside but Equaz. We're turning it back. Dante Lewis trying to get around the 20. Can't break forward to that. Knocked out of bounds. Now those stats were a big thing discussed moments ago. Keep in mind, Andrew Brush and his offense. Also 2 interceptions for Brush. 5 for 11, 42 yards in the first half.
And a pick 6 to add to that.
Yes.
So they put themselves in a little bit of a bind right now. Ultimately, this is going to come down to the offensive line being able to give Andrew Brush a little bit of time to find his talented receivers, and they have to mount a few first downs and get this defense a little tired. Can't let them have all the momentum.
Setting up for 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 18-yard line. 3 the motion. Brush looking to pass. Tries to throw it to Hayes Williams. Incomplete. Hayes Williams had the most catches in the first half, 3. Not able to make that in double coverage.
Yeah, exactly. That was double coverage, and there's a tight window, and it was behind him a little bit. He had to reach back into the defender and unable to corral that. A little bit of an errant throw there, and it's going to put them in that 2nd and long, and they have not been successful thus far.
On the bright side for some of the fans in attendance, some of them having some fun with Halloween right around the corner. 2nd and 10 at the 18-yard line here. Ute moving from left to right of Brush. Brush looking to pass again. Tries to go short. Incomplete. Drop by Javier Lewis.
And that has been the story. Just mistakes, not executing. This case scenario, it is a catchable ball. He's there for first down yardage. He catches it, he turns, he falls forward. He would have had the first down and a quick, instantaneous 2 and out. And you're going to probably see the Okanagan Sun start with relatively good field position and can almost put this game away with a score.
So after about a minute, the Sun now pick up the ball. The return men collide. They go backwards and lose yards to about the 44. Kamar Bishop on the return.
Well, we have a flag deep in the backfield of the kicking unit. So there's one deep, so we'll have to see what that is. But normally you don't want to see the ball kicked right down the middle, but this time the 2 Sun defender or return men ran into each other.
Again, Alex Jemmy, where you see the signal heading towards the Suns' direction.
Well, I think he's asking them where they want to enforce the penalty. I think it's against the Saints, so they're going to take 10 yards and add this forward, and they're going to gain those 10 yards from the point of return.
See that confirmation coming in on that positioning. Here comes the call after the confirmation.
Holding on the kicking team after the kick. 10-yard penalty, first down.
And that is indeed the case. So where they initially caught the ball, which was right around the 50-yard line, you'll see this thing here. The contact point came between the 2 guys and right around the 51-yard line. So that means they're going to walk 10 yards from that point forward, and the Saints actually get great field position.
So as a result, the Sun now start off this drive at the 49-yard line, starting with the toss on the near side. Working is Garwood. Garwood getting across the 40 and up for the first down.
Yeah, might have been a little bit of a hold on the edge, but maybe not enough to sort of induce a flag, obviously. You'll see, yeah, that was the outside guy. He did. Number 90 did get held on the outside. It looked like it should have been called because that is at the point of attack, and that sprung the running back 4 extra yards there as he picked up the first down and sets it up at the 38-yard line going in.
Garwood with that carry, now more than 60 yards on the day, has a touchdown. 9 carries for the night. Here comes carry 10. Garwood able to pick up a few more yards to set up second at about 5.
Good hard run, downhill running. Picked up a solid 5 yards here. But again, the D-line are getting out of their gap control. Getting up the field a little bit too much. You got to squeeze that defender or offensive lineman down and not give him that big of a running lane.
Second and about medium. Ball spotted at the 34-yard line. One running back for the set. 5 wide receivers trying to shuffle back and forth. Mileto. This time back to the ground game. Once again, Garwood. This time, Garwood able to break his way towards the edges of the red zone. Just tackled near the 20 for first down.
Yeah, and Okanagan is sensing that they got their prey ready to make the final kill. They're getting onto the defensive line. They're pushing them backwards. Linebackers aren't making the contact points that they need to negate any kind of big runs. And they're driving forward for big chunk yardage and another first down.
Just outside the red zone, the ball spotted at the 21 for the rush this time. Again to the ground, this time losing a couple yards is Garwood. In position that time, Fidel.
Yeah, and that's what I want to see from the D-line. Once you get into the backfield, sink and anchor. And then that way you can then make sure if the running back does have to spill over into your gap, you're there to make the tackle. 1 yard gain, second down and 9. That's what you want to see. You want to keep these guys behind the chains a little bit if you're going to get back into this game.
So second and long. Ball spotted at the 20, approaching 4 minutes into this third. Looking to pass. Britton having to throw over top through the end zone, intercepted. Picked off in the end zone. And Holmes in position to pick off Britton for his second time tonight.
Yeah, and that one was ill-advised. You're in scoring range already. You cannot throw back. He looks, scrambles, doesn't have anything, works back to his right, and he's going to try to throw across his body, and just you can't do that. In this case scenario, ill-advised. You had points in the bag, in essence, with a field goal attempt. Yeah, you can't do that, force the issue. That leaves the team to hang around. The ball's going to come out to the 20. No points surrendered. Let's see if the offense can get anything going.
4 minutes into this third quarter now here on We Digital. Glad to have you with us for this semifinal of CJFL action. All receivers in the motion there. Hayes Williams dives around the 20, picks it up. Picks up maybe the line of scrimmage, and that's all.
Yeah, and that's exactly it, Justin. Maybe the line of scrimmage. This ball's got to be up a little bit, and he's got to be able to handle this with his feet up so he can take advantage of some of those blockers there. It's in essence an incomplete pass for all intent and purposes.
So they move from left side to right, far side to near. Brush sets up with one back. 4 in the motion this time. Looking to pass. Lewis calling for it. Going the other direction. Down the sideline. Hayes Williams with the catch. Hayes Williams picks it up near midfield for the first down.
Yeah, and that's the big play they've been looking for. They get just enough protection here. Andrew Brush is able to throw one up to his big receiver. He high points it, gets 1 foot in bounds, which is all you need. Clearly controls the ball. Good throw, good catch, and now you can maybe mount your first bit of the comeback charge.
10 minutes to go now in this third quarter. 3 back in the motion. Brush looking to pass again. This time up the middle, through the traffic complete. Brought down around the 40. Picked up by Dante Lewis. St. Clark working quick.
And that's the Andrew Brush we've been seeing for here. Pull that and fire that ball on that dig route. And this is on time. It's a strong throw. Dante Lewis has enough time to go corral the ball and protect himself from any big. And now in, and they can possibly get a touchdown here and get back early in this third quarter.
One back. Williams dives ahead to around the 31-yard line to make it second and short.
Exactly that, Justin. Second and short. Good manageable down. My guess is now you're in 3-down territory. Worst case scenario, you're going to wedge forward and maybe get this first down here. But simple pitch and catch, move the sticks, hopefully find the end zone if you're a Saint fan.
Second and 1, ball spotted at the 31, going for the wedge. Brush uses his size, getting across the 30. And that moves the chains for another first down. St. Clair roaring.
Yeah. So, like you said, moves the chains. He pushes forward. He's a 30-pound running back. Yes, he was driven back a little bit, but not before he got that first down here. And now you're in business. Now maybe you can finally capitalize off a Sun mistake.
Let's go to the question, can they keep the drive going? 1st and 10, ball spotted now at the 29. Coming up to midway through the third. 3 back in the motion. Brush. Looks right. Looks down the sideline. Hayes Williams with separation. End zone. Touchdown. St. Clair. And the OFC's offensive player of the game and the year picks up the first touchdown for St. Clair.
And now the fans, you probably hear it through our microphones. The fans are back engaged into this game here. You come out, you get a turnover. Even though your first drive stalled, you now make them pay. You get this convert. Hopefully you get that. You're 18 points behind. Your defense maybe can build off that momentum. Good answer after that turnover. Maybe bringing it a little bit closer, and maybe the Saints can rally and get a little bit out of this.
Extra point up. Extra point signal. 28-10. First touchdown for St. Clair tonight comes from this.
And clean pocket. Andrew Brush was able to get it, and clearly Hayes Williams had his man beat. Easily had his man beat. Right to the corner of the end zone, and easily converting that touchdown. That's what you want from your all-star quarterback and all-star receiver. They combined for that. Maybe, just maybe, they can find this momentum to bring them closer and go into the fourth quarter with a genuine tight game.
170 yards of total offense St. Clair had in the first half. They've nearly doubled it already with that drive alone.
They got a full 90 out of that one, Justin.
Absolutely. So now they set up for the kickoff. To return men set up for the Sun. St. Clair able to break through for the first time tonight to the end zone. Here comes Rafferty with the kickoff. This time a little bit of a spiral kick to it. Trying to find separation. Going. Goes into the tackle. Brought down by Biemi. Set up solid field position for the Sun.
So a short kick, you don't want to kick it to O'Shea, no problem. They pooch it short. There's a flag on the play. So you're going to go hold on Okanagan, which is going to now back them up 10 yards here. And you'll see here, you're just dancing around. That's exactly who you want to kick it to. You do not want to kick it to number 11. They make sure they don't kick it to 11, and now they're going to end up backing this up a little bit after the hold.
And the Sun now just finding that out. They just came out of the huddle ready to set up the play. See Jemmy giving them the penalty. And Jemmy moving them all the way back to a 14.
Yeah, he caught the ball at the 25-yard line. He's going to go 10 from the point of catch.
So that sets up 1st and 10. Britton looking to scramble. Thought about the throw. Breaks the sack instead. Picks up a few yards on the play. Make it 2nd and medium on the scramble.
Yeah, fortunately, they did not make him pay here. He was able to break contain here, but good pursuit here, and it looks like it's Billy Patterson who got his hands on him first, and that's exactly what you want to do. You want to get hands on the guy in the backfield, and now that puts him in a 2nd down and 7. Big critical play here for the defense. If you can get that stop right now, your offense might just get great field position to start their 3rd possession of this half.
Quickly, the clock is rolling forward. 3 in the motion, the pump back again for Rudden. Resets the offense. This time, ground game. Right into the tackle for a loss of a few. Benea in the vicinity. Makes it 3rd and long.
And now you sense from the crowd and from the players, they're a little more engaged right now. They're amped up a little bit. So you're compounding last play and this play. You get number 4, Bray Miller, who came hard off the edge to get hands on him. Fanier comes in and makes the tackle, cleans up the mess. Now you're in a punting situation from your own end. I'm not sure if they're going to concede the safety here. I suspect they're going to kick it off. Pretty good kicker here.
We're seeing some strong power today from the special teams unit. It was chosen upon Wagner. boots it up to the height of the lights. A little bit shorter this time, off the bounce. Picked up by Lewis. Has a couple blocks. Brought down near the 40-yard line, about the 41. St. Clair with great field position.
Yes, they do, Justin. A high but short kick. Dante Lewis might have lost it a little bit in the lights because this ball hung for a while, but it bounces inside the 50-yard line. He handles it at around the 52-yard line, picks up a solid 12, 13 yards on this return here, and they set him up at the 40-yard line going in.
So they move it up indeed to about the 40. Approaching 6 minutes to go in this third quarter. The tides are changing. 3 in the motion. Brush, short. Hayes Williams breaks a tackle. Nearly spins away from a second. Able to pick up a few yards. Brought down by Peyton Ryder with the jersey.
Yeah, and I love the concepts right now. They're getting it out quick, and they're attacking the short side of the field right now, away from big number 9, who's been influencing the throw of the ball by getting his hands in play. And Hayes Williams makes the first guy miss and almost made the second guy miss. But like you said, second and short.
And it's 2nd and 2 now. Ball spotted at the 32-yard line. Rush sets up under center. Garcia sets up as the back. To the motion to the left of Brush. He looks to his right. Down the sideline. Hayes Williams tries to get it off the bounce. Picks it up for the catch. Inside the 5 for 1st and goal. What a play by Hayes Williams.
Wow, exactly, Justin. This ball, they're throwing it over the top, and it gets a jump ball volley. Tipped up to himself. And he gets the ball with his foot inbounds, and he controls it the entire way. What a great play, and now they're set up and goal.
Able to get it off the deflection from Michael Jordan. 1st and goal. Going for the wedge. Rush breaks the plane. Touchdown, St. Clair. And the Saints are back in business.
Yeah, they are going to get the touchdown, but they're going to get an unnecessary roughness as number 9 was thrown down after the play. But the indication was a touchdown first, so I'm assuming this is going to be post. Now, that means they'll likely enforce it on the kickoff, but we'll see here. But the momentum has changed a little bit now. With 5 minutes left in this game, they're about to make it 11 points, Justin.
In this third quarter, yes.
Unnecessary roughness on the defense. Touchdown's good.
And the touchdown stands. An extra point attempt for Rafferty. Chance to chip it down to 11. You see how pumped up Brush was there from the sideline. Extra point up. Boyd's the block attempt is good. And St. Clair, just like that, closes what was a 25-point gap to 11.
Yeah, and it looks like Okanagan may have just given back that penalty. I saw somebody from Okanagan throw down a St. Clair player, so if that is indeed the case, the penalty that was just before for unnecessary roughness are going to offset. So they lost the advantage gained from that prior penalty. So we'll get the call here from Alex Jemmy.
Unnecessary roughness, face mask. Okanagan will apply it on the kickoff.
Okay, so that's exactly it. We had unnecessary roughness, and now it's going to be applied here.
I was about to say, when I was looking at the stat line, notice the penalties were near even, but the yardage was big. 95 yards penalty yardage from the Sun, but it didn't matter on the score sheet. Now the penalties are starting to matter a bit here, it seems, tonight. But the St. Clair Saints are starting to finally click, Badee.
Absolutely. They got the turnover. When the Sun were in scoring position, you saw the turnover, and the Saints immediately turned it into a touchdown, 2 and out, and now you can hear the crowd and see the crowd is heavily engaged.
Kickoff off and away. Turn picked up inside the 20. Speeding forward, this is Tuogai. Tries to bobble ahead, brought down nearly to the 30.
And another flag down on the field. Oh, I might be mistaken.
Yeah, let's take a look. Able to break a couple tackles on the formation. There's no flag on the play. The sticks are placed at the 29-yard line. Coming to 5 minutes to go in this third quarter. Looking to pass, Britton going back to the short plays. Bymack running after the catch across the 40, nearly to the 45 for the first down.
And I like that play call. That's a drive starter. Get it back. That's exactly how you started the game. You throw it out to them, and now you're going to get the Okanagan Sun going right to the line of scrimmage to try to get tempo, to get the momentum back to theirs. They're going to call everything from the line of scrimmage and see if they can get the Saints a little bit jolted by going hurry up.
Here's Bymack stat line entering. He can't hold on to the catch there. Bymack with the drop. Second and 10.
And you see Bymack holding on to his heel or his toe. Looks like he's cramping just a little bit.
And already quickly trying to rush from the side. Back into the huddle with Britton. Trying to work quickly on the play calls. Play clock now roaring. Second and 10. Ball spotted at the 44. Acumen Stadium waking up. Britton rolls right. Looks to throw in the motion. Pass interference called. A flag is down. Tall guy went down on the play. Norton in the vicinity on the coverage.
Yeah, unfortunately, he did stack on top of him, and he got right on his back, and that was indeed going to be a pass interference as the receiver got impeded to the ball.
Pass interference on the defense, number 9. That's a 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And what did we say about the penalties?
Yeah, we'll see here on the replay. The throw's out in front of him, and you'll just see Norton just get on the heels of the receiver. It looked like he was right on his back. Now, was it incidental where their feet got tangled up? I couldn't really tell more, but there was contact.
So the ball now spotted at the 51. The Sun back. A flag is down on the play. Down towards the side, incomplete. But again, a flag is down around the line of scrimmage.
100%.
Now on the other side.
This is offside against Okanagan. The slot receiver went. I'm pretty sure they're going to decline this and take the second down and 10. But this is clearly on the visitors. The receiver was offside.
Offside. Okanagan, number 11. That penalty's declined. Second down.
There's the confirmation. They take the second down and lost it down instead.
Yeah, slot receivers are allowed about a yard cushion. As long as the ball is snapped and they're sort of over the line, but he was clearly a full step over the line of scrimmage there, and that is a foul any way you cut it.
Second and 10. Three receivers bunched up. Running back moves up to block. Britton jumps away. Screen play. Picked up by Garwood. Garwood can't get to the sticks, however, for third and now medium.
Yeah, and they set it up nicely, but that was a great play by number 55, Lorenzo Blake. He backtracks. He realizes, oh my goodness, it's a screen, and he comes back and he makes the play. He retraced his steps. Excellent job recognizing that they were setting up the screen, and it's going to bring up a third down and 5, and it appears the Saints are keeping their offense on the field. Are they going to possibly hard count them to try to draw them offside? We'll see. Oh, I stand corrected.
Yes.
The punter is now on the field.
Yes, that is Wagner. So the Sun having to punt it away from around midfield. One return man back, Dante Lewis. About 3 minutes to go. Running out of time to get the punt off. They just get the play going. A long punt this time. Lewis tracks it down before the goal line. Tries to move to the far side. And brought down around the 2 or 3, making the 40-yard line.
And that's exactly what you needed if you're an Okanagan Sun fan. This was the recipe that they sort of ascribed to all year long. Punt, pin a deep spiraling punt. catches it at his own 2-yard line, and the coverage is tremendous. And he's lucky he didn't actually get called for a horse collar. That replay showed that he grabbed the back of the number plate, and you don't have to have a change of direction anymore. That actually was on the back shoulder right above the numbers. Maybe a missed call. Possibly could have been a horse collar, but now they're pinned deep in their own end.
Inside the 5-yard line, to be precise. Rush now sets up for the pump, going for the rush. Cartier not able to break forward, gains maybe a yard, and that's all.
Yeah, maybe a yard is correct. They were trying to get maybe a outside rush and leak a little draw underneath that. But good job right there. That looks like that's the weak half who came all the way screaming in and made the tackle. He did not hesitate, and he negates that to, like you said, a yard gain at best.
Look at Coach with shots from the sideline. 2nd and about 9. Rush on his own in the backfield, looks to throw it, goes short, Hayes Williams. Hayes Williams tries to jump towards the sticks, marked down about a yard shy, make it 3rd and short.
Oh boy, they've been pretty automatic on these here, getting those, and they are calling 3rd down, and it looks like Coach LaChance is keeping his crew on there. It is 3rd and short. I'd like to believe in Canada you're always going to get the yard. You have a 1-yard neutral zone. This is on the big boys up front and your quarterback to get this perfect exchange here.
Going for the wedge. Pushing hard. Getting to around and past the sticks. And already the officials move the sticks. 1st down on the wedge again.
And that was set up by the hard run by Jared Hayes Williams after he caught it. He knifed forward and gave themselves a chance to wedge this forward. Andrew Brush easily got to the 15-yard line. He needed to get to the 14, easily got to the 15. Now they have some playing ground, and maybe, just maybe, they're going to take that shot and keep Jared Hayes Williams rolling.
Coming up to the final minute here in this 3rd quarter. St. Clair trails by 11 to Okanagan. Rush looking to throw, short again, Hayes Williams again. This time takes the yardage, picked up for 2nd and short.
Absolutely love how they've come out here. They're getting it out quick, and they're attacking the short side of the field. Get it out to your guy, and he's making the guy miss initially, and he's picking up yards after the catch. After first contact, he picked up 2 extra, and as you said, 2nd and 2 right now, and I wouldn't be surprised if they got under center and wedged Andrew Brush forward here.
Doesn't set up under center this time. 1 back. Or his right. Very quiet tonight. Sets up at the back. They go with the running play for the quarterback. Forward ahead. Trying to get around the 35. Moved around and picked up for significant yardage. So no wedge there, but they do go back to the well of Brush's running.
That quarterback power, that was a staple we saw the last 2 weeks as they marched their way through the conference semi and final. And here they just say, we're going to run you over with our 6'3" quarterback, protect the ball, and get all the way across the 35-yard line.
Buzzer has now sounded, final play of this 3rd quarter. Brush pumps, hands it off, right. Gets a couple yards on the play. That will set up 2nd and about 8 to start off the 4th quarter of play. Okanagan started off strong in the first half, led by 25. St. Clair responded to chip it away to an 11-point deficit entering the final quarter of play here on We Digital.
Yeah.
For every big breath, for every little breath, and for every breath in between, Ontario Power Generation is committed to keeping Ontario's air clean. That's why the power we generate is 99% free of smog and carbon emissions. Because clean air matters to us all.
Getting ready for the 4th quarter of play. St. Clair with the ball for 2nd and 8 at the 33, trailing by 11. Brush looking to march the Saints down the field again. Trying to go short again to Hayes Williams. This time incomplete. Coverage from Jordan along the outside.
Yeah, and it looked like they rotated the coverage back underneath, and you'll see here that Andrew Brush maybe actually short-armed this on purpose because he realized there was coverage underneath and over the top of that.
And Jordan is down on the play and being checked out by the staff quickly. It looks like Jordan being brought to the sideline. Sun did bring 2 trainers to the playing field today, Roy Gillespie and Catherine Taylor. St. Clair now having to punt it away after all the momentum built up previously. Off and away, just getting off in time. And that blows out to the Sun bench around maybe the 45, 50-yard line. So St. Clair had the momentum in the third quarter. Now the Sun with the ball in the opening moments of this fourth quarter here.
Yeah, and again, they're punting away from Mike O'Shea. We saw him take one earlier, but it was negated by a penalty. They're okay with punting that out of the bounds. Their defense has made some adjustments. They're now holding their ground just a little bit better.
They spotted the ball at the 49-yard line. One back set for 1st and 10. No Saints jumping ahead this time. Looking to pass. Britton flicks it forward through the double coverage, complete. Guy able to pick up the reception on the flick around. Nice throw to Guy, who has been very busy tonight.
Yeah, and this was so close. It was a tight window, but Billy Patterson Jr. was just a fraction late breaking on that in live time from my depth. If he would have been just a fraction sooner, he maybe even could have stepped in front of that.
Now that marks it down to the 50 for 1st and 10. Back in the motion, this time the toss play. They do it again. Garwood again breaking ahead again on the toss. Able to cross across the 40 for the first down.
I haven't really seen too many Canadian football teams pitch this so deep. He gets the ball. He has to run almost 9 yards just to get back to the line of scrimmage. But boy, does he carry momentum once he does. And he picks up a full 11 and gets the first down.
So the 11-yard pickup for 1st and 10 now. 39-yard line. Garwood still the back. 3 back in the motion this time. Big jet sweep going for the running play. Britton jumps ahead to about the 33, 32-yard line.
Yeah, they started the game earlier, and Britton had a really, really long run. They motion O'Shea across, and they fake to him, and then the quarterback has a little inside read option, and he kept it on this play. And again, almost a tackle for a loss, but then he puts his foot in the ground, and he picks up a solid gain of about 6 yards.
When you notice there, too, Britton went from left hand for the ball to right hand to make sure he didn't have it stripped. So that now sets up 2nd and 4 at the 33. Britton hands it off. Garwood able to find a seam, breaks through the tackles. Touchdown, Sun. And Garwood sucks the oxygen out of the stadium with the rushing touchdown.
Yeah, and he was untouched through the first level and had to sort of break one tackle and high-stepped and kicked through it and found the end zone for about a 33 or 34-yard touchdown run.
33 yards indeed picked up by Garwood. 49 yards in the first half. Again, he's been effective much of this night. A 2nd rushing touchdown for the Sun. The extra point goes up and good. So 37, or 35 should say, 17 as a result of this run.
Yeah, and it's just a turnout block on the defensive end. The linebacker gets caught in the wash, and right there you see he has to high step over one of his own men, and he works his way into the end zone pretty much untouched for the 33 yards. And that's the response if you are indeed an Okanagan BC Football Conference fan. This is the kind of play you want to have. You just give yourself that cushion with 12 and change left in this semifinal, and hopefully for the Okanagan Sun fans, This sets them on their way to the winner of tomorrow's Regina-Saskatoon game in the Prairie Conference Final. Now, of course, the Saints might have something to say about that with 12 and a half minutes left.
That's the thing. A lot can happen. We'll have to see. Remember, that game, for those wanting to tune in, CJFL action will be at 1 p.m. local time. That is Central Time between Saskatoon and Regina. And to determine who will take on the winner of this matchup in the Canadian Bowl. Another booming kick. And nearly bobbled again. Youth this time returns it. Brought across the 20. Tries to crawl ahead to the 25. Marked down to the 23, 24-yard line. And that's a third bobble from him.
Yeah, it is. At least this time it didn't get down to the ground. And you'll see it. He gets it right around face level. And it almost gets across his face. And let me explain what's happened. Apparently there was a shortage of supplies of footballs. For the last handful of years, this league has been using the Nike football, and there's been a shortage of football. So this year, the Ontario Football Conference went to the Wilson F2000, and so the Saints are using that on their offense and special teams, and Okanagan's using that Nike ball on their offense and their kicking game.
Two in the motion this time for first and 10 of the 24. A quick rush, a quick scored out, a fumble. Diving on top of it are the Saints. They hold on to it and lose a few yards in the process. Able to hold on to it, Corey Levesque should say.
Well, we'll see here on this replay. There was an Okanagan Sun in the backfield right there immediately, and that was number 16, their defensive end, who is lightning fast, and that's Romeo Reed. And he absolutely blew that thing up in the backfield, almost took the hand off.
We talked about how dangerous they could be, the duel of Reed and Thomas. 24 sacks in the regular season. But a player is down on this play. So an injury stoppage here, and that is Reed who is down. The defensive lineman, again, a conference all-star.
Well, the way they're holding that toe up looks like it's a cramp. They're getting some water in him, and he's just going to sort of jog this one off. But it looked like he has some sort of calf cramp, and they were just pinning that toe straight up to try to relieve some of the tension there. But great play, and fortunately for the Saints, they recovered it. Unfortunately for the Saints, it's going to bring up second down and 14.
Second and 13, should say. Ball spotted at the 21-yard line. 5 wide receivers set. Now they bring in the receiver for the block. Rush, looking to pass. Near side, Hayes Williams again. Hayes Williams does complete it and rushes out. Just past the sticks for the first down.
Great timing throw. That is straight comeback right from the corner on the back shoulder. Andrews Brush throws it before he even comes out of his break, and he's right on him. He's able to quickly turn and reach ahead for the first down. Excellent execution. Again, to the short side of the field, I think that's been the success, the recipe right now. If they can somehow mount this drive and get that touchdown right back, we've seen crazy things happen on this very field, Justin. Last year's OFC final proved that crazy things can happen.
Absolutely. Coming up to 4 minutes into this fourth quarter. Same type of formation. Brush. This time changes it up. Tries to throw it deep to Ryan. Incomplete. And it looked like there was the thought at first of the similar play to go short again, but they changed it long.
Yeah, Ryan did a little stutter and go, but the defensive back, number 17, did not go for this one bit. They did a little pump, and then he tried to go over the top, and the defensive back ran the route for him. That's just good coverage. That is flat-out good coverage, step for number 17, Kamar Bishop.
Bishop has been busy in the coverage throughout the night. But now second and 10 at the 35. It's time spreading out a little bit. Now they bring the same formation back a third time this drive. Rushing forward, Brush. Avoids a sack, spins out of a second. Breaks ahead on the third tackle, and another first down on the ground. The officials checking if the ball popped up, but Brush has it regardless.
Yeah, that is a good Tough play, and that's what you rallied behind.
He ripped his sleeve off from it.
So now that sleeve is going to come completely off. They have time because there's an injury for the Sun, and this does not look good for the Sun as their defender looks like he is in a lot of pain as he's slamming on the ground there. And it looked like it was friendly fire. His own teammate rolled him up and got on him, and that ball clearly did not come out there, and he's tackled forward for the first down. But we do have an injured Sun on the field, and he was slamming the ground. That's number 19, and that is Jacob Bond, as he's going to be helped up and off.
He'll get some assistance from his teammates. Hayden Ryder, Aiden Hennessy taking him off. Now a third member of the Sun coming in to assist. But the offense rolling forward again. 10 minutes, 18 seconds to go in regulation. Ball spot 47 as the Sun player now gets brought to the sideline. St. Clair now getting themselves ready for the play. Players still being brought to the sideline in the midst of this. And now Brush sets up. One back behind. Javier Lewis changing towards the slot this time. Brush short again. Hayes Williams again. Across midfield. And again to the sticks. Looks like they may give him the first down. It is going to move the sticks.
Yeah, Jared Hayes-Williams is having a phenomenal game. He has to be well over 100 yards right now, probably close to double-figure catches, has a touchdown already. And good blocking out front. That is that's Javier Wilson, who is doing a good job of blocking for him. Lewis. And they pick up 12 yards there. Good job finding your playmakers. It's pretty obvious right now that they're targeting 15 every single play, it seems.
Ball now spotted at the 52-yard line. Three back of the motion. Brush, quarterback power. Picks it up across the 50 to about the 46 is where the spot is for second and about medium.
And I suspect they're pretty close to three-down territory here with them being down 18 points here. But this has been the sort of formula for them this whole season, keeping some balance in the run and in the pass. They've mounted this comeback by doing both. If indeed they can cap this off with the touchdown, the final several minutes of this game are going to be extremely interesting as they try to close the gap.
This time to the motion. Chartier sent running. The run play this time given off again. Javier Lewis for the whistles, trying to break ahead, picks up nearly to the sticks for third and short.
Yeah, and they're going to obviously go for it here at this scenario. They're about half a yard short, so don't look for anything too fancy. But this is great effort by Lewis. He's down at least 2 yards short, and he pushed forward, and he made it to the point where they're going to hopefully make an automatic conversion here.
Wedge time. The wedge again pushes far ahead to the 40. That's good by at least 2 yards. Under 8 minutes to go. And Brush continues to march the Saints forward.
Yeah, and this is, you want to see this fight in the comeback. At 28-3 at the half, if the Okanagan would have came out and scored that opening one, you might have seen just a little bit different. But the Saints have fought the entire second half and have battled their way back here, and now they're on the 40-yard line going in, trying to close the gap even more.
1st and 10 at the 40. Brush looking upfield. Tries to throw in the midst of traffic. Nearly intercepted, instead dropped. Ute right there.
Yeah, and Ute had his hands on it. At that point in time, you need to make a play. You're down. Your margin for error is nil. Quarterback put it on you. You have to catch it. As we see what looked like a dog pound there.
Well, that's Griff,
yeah,
the mascot.
Griff. But the ball hits him. It's in his hands. Yes, it's contested. It's a good play by 39, but you got to make a play. You have to make a play. Somebody has to step up and make a play if they're going to finish this comeback.
2nd and 10. Ball spotted still at the 40. Another 5 wide receiver set. Just past halfway to the 4th. Brush. Deep step back. Able to get it going on the screen. Right. Finds some space to work to get the first down.
And that's something they haven't really shown much all year. Any kind of quick screen to the running back. And this one here, dialed up perfectly. Okanagan's pass rush.
Oh, and there's a problem. Brush is down from that hit.
And it looked like he might be rolled up on his ankle. He planted wrong. And we'll have to see if he's going to, but he's going to have to come out for at least a play as the trainers are coming to him. And you see him walking off here. The hit seemed relatively innocuous in that it hit him 2 hands push into the stomach, but he might have just rolled his ankle.
The pressure is on for the backup quarterback, who was also very successful in the regular season. Say hello once again to Matthew Gannett. Gannett looking to keep the momentum going. 554 yards, 64% his pass completion rate in the regular season. Looking to pass, 1st and 10 at the 27. Tries to go short again, this time incomplete. Hayes Williams the target.
Yeah, and usually Jared Hayes Williams comes up with that.
Yeah.
You see Gannett's numbers, high completion percentage, had a good rookie campaign. Can definitely sling the ball. A little bit the throw was a little low on that last one. But usually the sure-handed Hayes Williams comes down with that one, and he was unable to corral that, which would have brought up a 2nd down and medium. But we're sitting here 2nd and long. Again, I would suspect we're in 3-down territory here, so you don't have to get it all here, but you will see them go for it on 3rd down.
2nd and 10. Oh, and they run out of time. The play clock reaches zeros. Flag is down.
And I can't necessarily blame the quarterback on this one. It looked like the receivers were not properly aligned, so there was confusion. They had to get around. Unfortunately, it is going to bring up a 2nd and 15.
That cost them some yardage. Approaching 6 minutes to go. Pap in the back this time. Gannett sets up. 3 in the motion this time. Gannett looking long with the arm. Hayes Williams can't get to it. Incomplete. 2 men on the coverage. Bishop a part of the coverage this time.
Yeah, love the idea. Relatively safe throw as long as it gets over. And here we have a flag. It looks like it's going to be some sort of talking or objectionable conduct. And if that's indeed the case, we're looking at a 1st down here.
Seen the flag pop up out of the walk back from the end zone.
Because the Okanagan player had said something, and right away the referee had thrown the flag in. I didn't think it was a St. Clair player anywhere near the referee at that point in time. No, it's not. It's not going to be an automatic 1st down. It's going to be because they have the 15 yards to make up. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty. So you're going to have 3rd down. Had it been a UR, it doesn't matter. Unnecessary roughness, it wouldn't matter what the length is. That's accompanied with an automatic 1st down. But you're now clearly more manageable at 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5. The ball needs to get to the 17-yard line to keep the drive alive. In the motion goes Javier Lewis. 4 on the play clock. Looking to pass. Gannett out of the pressure. Complete. Hayes Williams jukes forward. Has enough for the 1st down. And another flag after the play.
And we're going to get an unnecessary roughness. The defender lowered his crown and got right on the helmet of Jared Hayes Williams. And this is going to go to the 1-yard line here. This is a major foul, and they got the 1st down after it. Great job by Matt Gannett getting the 1st down conversion here. But this is going to be a full walk-off to the 1-yard line here.
Here's the call.
Absolutely. Piling on. He unnecessarily needed. He was down. Third defender did not have to come in and lower his helmet into him. That ball is going to the 1 yard line.
First and goal at the
And
1.
Andrew Brush is back in.
Yes, he is, as he sets up under center for the wedge. Brush jumps in. End zone. Touchdown, St. Clair. And the Saints are back in the conversation with 5:23 to go.
Well, let's just give a little bit of kudos. Gannett came in and a critical third down threw a great ball to Jared Hayes-Williams, who rewarded it off, and after taking the piling on hit, got it back to the 1 yard line, allowing Andrew Brush the time to get himself back into this game here. That's great effort by all parties.
Now for the extra point to try and trim the gap back to 11. Kick is up. Kick is good. 35-24. And now more pushing after the play. And some of the officials break that up. Tempers are flaring a bit here, but with 5:23 to go, you said anything is possible as we've seen last year. Let's take a look at the wedge.
Yeah, and Andrew Brush just gets a little help. It's Javier who comes back from the pile. You got some white jerseys bellowing back, but he only needed the yard, and his knees are not down until he's finally over the goal line. And that is all you need to do, break the plane, and they did that indeed. Now, with 2 timeouts, 5:23, I don't think you have to resort to a short kick right now like an onside kick. I would suspect Okanagan will at least have their hands team up and ready for this.
They already have a different returnman back alongside O'Shea, it appears here. I think Van Holten is now back. Yes, he is. Haven't seen Van Holten back there throughout the night tonight. Rafferty now sets up for the kickoff. 5:23 to go. And they blow the play dead.
Timeout from the visitors. They wanted to see the alignment, and they got what they wanted to see. But they're going to set their return unit or their hands team up accordingly based on what St. Clair presented on that kickoff alignment.
And you already see that discussion coming in on the side. They look to try and coordinate how to play this out here. But in turn, does St. Clair try and change it up on their special teams, knowing they already just showed the first look?
Yeah, good question, Justin. Yeah. I think they do have a mindset right now. I think they're going to let the momentum of the way they're playing carry them forward here. If they can get a quick 2 and out, let their defense sort of maybe create a little bit of havoc. The defense might make a signature play for them, and then maybe their offense can be one more explosive play away from trimming it to one possession.
Final discussions close on up on the sideline. A look over at the Sun sideline. But in keeping warm in the midst of the preparation here for the kickoff. It looks like they will change things up a bit now, working towards the rest of the grouping. You see the adjustment coming with Pepin. And they go for a high boomer. Bounces up O'Shea. O'Shea across the 25. Jukes around, brought down by the tackle at around the 27. So a different trajectory on the kick compared to the first time.
Yeah, they just didn't want O'Shea to handle it in the air. They did not want to have him have a little momentum. So you're going to drop this in this little window here just outside the 30-yard line, let the thing bounce. And in this case scenario, that allows your coverage to get down there. And you see O'Shea turn sideways, and he really didn't have a lane to go through. So good job on the Saints' coverage, making sure they kept their lane integrity.
1st and 10 already in progress. A quick play on that screen for Garwood. Garwood able But a nearly get to the sticks. So a solid pickup to start the drive here.
Yeah, and it looks like
and
it's
now they
enough for
will
a
mark
first
it.
down, and you'll see here on the replay, that was a quick hitter. They just leaked him out real quickly, hit him on a little arrow, turned it up the field, had some blockers. They set that quick edge for them as the Okanagan Sun look like they want to slow things down just a little bit and use the clock here and get in their 4-minute offense and try to kill this game with their offense on the field.
Coming up to that 4-minute mark. 1st and 10. Ball spotted at the 39. Sun draining the clock. Going back to the ground to Garwood. Garwood breaking left. Brought down shy of the sticks this time. But another solid pickup.
Yeah, and this is what championship teams have to be able to do. Grind out the clock and get multiple first downs on the ground. If you expect to be a conference champion, a national champion, you have to be able to do these drives in the fourth quarter.
So 2nd and short. Ball at the 47. I formation. Sun still draining down the clock. Bottom of the play clock. Hand it off again. No. Play action. Trying to roll it out to run it ahead for the first down. They got it. What a good play for Britain.
Yeah, and a lack of containment. Again, the down and distance, you're trying to get a stop. You're trying to force inside. It's just a good play call at that juncture of the game where you know they're going to commit to that inside run action, and you have an athletic quarterback who can make the turn around the corner there. And when your defensive end gets caught inside, doesn't matter how deep you are. As long as you break containment, you can work your way up the sideline, and like you said, easily getting the first down.
1st and 10 from midfield. Approaching the 3-minute warning. Garwood still the back. And they let the play clock reach full zeros. Play still allowed to run, and it leads to disaster. Down at the 45, and a loss of about 10.
Exactly what the defense needed. The Saints needed to create a big play on defense, and this time they keep him in the pocket. And when you keep him in the pocket, you're going to get the pressure there as Bray Miller cleans up the mess, as his partner in crime 44, Nick Trifon, forced that play to come back inside where Bray Miller was able to chase him down for the sack.
So a 3-minute warning sequence now for the Suns for 2nd and 20. Ball spotted at the 45. Suns still draining down the clock. More and more, they look to pass it. Forced to scramble. Britton throws on the motion. Complete. Picked up by Tuongai, but it looks like it may be shy of the sticks.
Shy, but at least now they have that option to go for it here. It is literally going to be 3rd and 1. And it looks like Okanagan is bringing out the punt unit. Interesting decision here. Interesting.
Yeah.
Great throw, great catch, and he was able to get himself up the field and close enough to the first down, but it does indeed look like they brought out their punt unit here. I think they're confident in their defense with this much time left, and Okanagan is going to use their final timeout here.
It's coming with 2:37 to go here in this fourth quarter.
In this world of analytics, everything going on, teams have forgotten that punting the ball isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm not necessarily upset with this call if I'm Okanagan. At this point in time with 2:37 and an 11-point lead, you know St. Clair has to score a touchdown, a 2-point convert, and the field goal to even tie the game. But now, here we go, after some discussion, they're going to bring the offense right back out, and they're going to go right to the line of scrimmage. And this, again, I'm not surprised by this play call.
And Coach Morency calling for some adjustments along the sideline. St. Clair's defense scrambling. 2:37 to go. On the wedge. Goes way ahead by 5 yards for the first down. And a Saints is down on the play. Here's a look.
Yeah, and it looks like number 94, Fanier, who is down and needing some attention. Looks like it's his right shoulder got piled on and landed on in that scrum of heavy bodies. So, again, I wasn't necessarily opposed to punting with an 11-point lead and pinning them deep. On that same token, I was assuming they were going to go for it on 3rd and 1, which they rolled out after their timeout. Good use of the timeout to talk to your team and decide, okay, we're going to put this on here, guarantee the O-line. And there's what's on the line right now.
So when it comes to that matchup, your thoughts on the Saskatoon-Regina matchup to decide how things fare out in the Prairie Conference?
Well, Regina has been the best team in that conference all year long, but I'm never going to count out Saskatoon. Regina beat Saskatoon twice last year, and Saskatoon indeed upset them in their conference final. It's listed as the CJFL semifinal. It serves as their conference final as well because the Prairies host the national championship this year because there's only 3 major conferences in the CJFL. That being said, I'll never count out Saskatoon. That's a heated rivalry. You have to earn everything in that conference. Regina is undefeated, if I'm not mistaken, as well going into that game. So I would not be surprised if Regina wins, but I'm never going to count out Saskatoon.
Benia now being brought to the sideline. Head trainer for St. Clair is Dylan Durward. Down to the final 2 minutes and 30 seconds of the semifinal. Sun draining the clock down. Off and away on the run. Once again, with the speed, Garwood. Garwood runs ahead to about the 10, but a flag is down again.
Yeah, and they went to the well a little bit too much. In this case scenario, it looked like an edge man was holding, and he just sprung that extra run. So I would suspect this is coming back because from my vantage point, and that is indeed the early indicator that we had a hold, and it was clearly before the line to gain. So it's going to bring up a 1st and 20, and the clock will be held as a result of the penalty as well. So it's going to be 2nd or 2:13 and a 1st and 20 for Okanagan. You'll see here on the outside run, it's just at the very end, you'll see that grab on number 31. You can get inside on a guy, but once he's trying to fight off of you, you can't pull his chest plate back into you, and that's exactly what I saw from here in live, and our replay showed that very thing, and that block actually sprung the running back for those extra yards.
All the way nearly to midfield as a result of the penalty, now at the 50 for 1st and 20. Handing off again to Garwood. Garwood trying to round the corner, does round it. Jumps ahead, able to get inside the 40 for a solid pickup.
And we have a flag here, and I don't know who this is going to be on, but if it is indeed on the Saints, it's going to make it a lot closer of a 2nd down play here. But nice run by Garwood. When you want to run an outside zone play, you want to stretch, and force it. He kept on his track. Let's get the penalty call here. And it looks like the indication was unnecessary roughness on number 2, Billy Patterson, and it looks like he's the one coming off the field right now.
We'll see. It's already indicated for a 1st down as a result of the penalty yardage.
And you see how he just kept working to the sideline, stretching.
Ball now spotted all the way at the 24. So net yards of about 26 yards from that sequence. On the ground again. Clock continues to drain down. 2nd and medium coming up here.
Yeah, and right now at this point there's only one way for St. Clair to get back into this game. They're going to need to create a turnover. They need a big play here from their defense. They're going to have to get it with Okanagan in field goal range already. I suspect they'll try to kick the field goal to make it a 2-touchdown game if they don't convert this.
See what they do here. 2 backs for this formation. 5 on the play clock. Down to 3. Handing off again to Garwood. Garwood runs forward again.
And it looks like he's about a half foot short. Justin, based on the way the side judge has indicated his spot and where we see the downs box. Nice little cutback. Works right, but then works off to his left. That easily could have been a tackle for pretty much no gain, but that was a nice patient run as he pressed the hole and then cut back against the grain. And here's pretty much the game. 3rd down and 1.
They elect to go for the wedge. Last time they did this, they picked up 5 extra yardage. This time the wedge pulls ahead, and that may be the final dagger. 1st down.
And this drive started with about 4.5 minutes left on the game clock, and this is exactly what you want. You want 1st downs, tick, 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 tick. The Saints do have 2 timeouts left. What they now have to hope for is to actually keep them out of the end zone and hold them to a 2-score game if they convert the field goal here.
Not using timeout still. Okanagan less than 90 seconds away from the Canadian Bowl. 3 on the play clock, down to 1. Handing off to Garwood. Garwood juking forward, end zone. There's the dagger, and the Sun bench already erupting for the touchdown.
Yeah, and you know the defense is going to be trying to sell out. They're trying to knife through, and they're trying to find a gap to maybe get into the backfield and create some spill. Unfortunately, the gap fell in the favor of the Okanagan Sun as they were able to knife through, and just good running backs find the plays, and you see number 26 as he celebrates going to the sideline. When you have 1,000 yards on the season, you know you're a talented running back, and they pretty much obviously iced it at 41 with the ensuing extra point. To push it back to 18 points.
3 touchdowns tonight. Direction of Garwood. Kick is up and good. 42-24. You see the Sun sideline. They are pumped up. At this point, it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, and you see here on the running play, just a kick-out block, and he was able to find that seam. A linebacker came in, filled just a little bit late. That was number 9, Brankovic, who came in, and he was just a fraction late. That was Nathaniel Norton, who came in from his half spot, and that's a long run to come back down into the box there, and easy run into the end zone after that. I will give a little bit of kudos to the Saints in that they tried to really close this gap here, outscoring the Okanagan Sun in the second half. But when you spot a team 25 points in the first half, you really put yourself behind the 8 ball. This Okanagan Sun team is for real. There's a reason why they went 10-0 in their conference and ran through their conference playoffs. The Saints are indeed talented. If you could eliminate maybe a 5-minute span from the end of the first quarter into the start of the second quarter, where there was the exchange of interceptions and then the one went for a pick 6, I think we might have seen a different sort of finish to this game. But you can't go back in time.
Indeed. And with 55 seconds to go, the Sun looking to kick it away. St. Clair's return unit, knowing time is on their side at the moment. Wagner, the kick. This one bounces its way past Dante Lewis to the back of the end zone. Lewis trying to trek it out. Lewis getting across the 5, nearly to the 5, should say.
Yeah, I know what he's trying to do. He's trying to make something super explosive. A point isn't going to make a difference. You need more yards here. Not that 49 seconds left.
Yeah.
Give up the point, get your offense to the 35-yard line, and try to get some sort of miracle touchdown to try an onside kick. But now you're at your 4-yard line here?
Spotted at the 5, but indeed a tough spot for the offense to close things out. But Okanagan, I think that face we just seen for a flash of a second is kind of the reaction that you can have, especially with how strong they were the first half and the end off the second half.
Yeah, no question about it. They are excited. They've earned this. They've played a very good game.
St. Clair trying to close out strong. Brush throws an interception for a 3rd time. Michael Jordan this time intercepts it. And That is the opposite of finishing strong.
Well, Justin. At this point, it's not gonna matter with 44 seconds left. He's cramping once again. You see him holding their toes down. His hamstrings might be tied up. He's trying to get it back to Dante Lewis, and Dante Lewis has had just a tremendous career. I will not be even him on that return. I'm never going to second guess him. He's just a playmaker. He's had a tremendous career. Has been a leader on this team. So impressed with all the little things he's done. Went up and tried to get it. You're going to force it to your playmakers. That interception is obviously inconsequential. I suspect you're not going to get too much hesitation from the Saints in terms of using their timeouts. They're going to just let this thing take knees and expire without any kind of hassle.
Sun just looking to clarify things. They set up for the victory formation. Clock already rolling.
And now it's just a matter of time. Now they're just going to obviously let this thing wind down, and you can hear the celebration from the visitor sideline. You can see it right here.
And some of the fans here at Acumen Stadium also.
Yeah, they're giving a congratulatory salute to their home team.
Mm-hmm.
Home team battled back. They did not go out with their tail between their legs. Like I said, they outscored them. They outplayed them to an extent in the second half. But, again, a great football team like Okanagan, you can't spot them 25 points and expect to win very many games.
And the Sun are ready to erupt on the sideline. Clock down to its final second. Final victory formation. That will do it. Okanagan is off to the CJFL Canadian Bowl. 42-24 the final.
Yeah, Justin, good battle. On this day, the better team won. Okanagan, congratulations and good luck next week at Regina or Saskatoon in the Canadian Bowl.
Strong performance from the Sun to start off the game, leading by 25 into the locker room. And now they get the chance to battle for a national title. Some of the Saints coming to congratulate them as they line up for the trophy presentation. The water bottles already flowing along the sideline. And a look of defeat from Ryan after this one. Strong campaign for St. Clair, no matter how you put it, though. OFC champions, an undefeated season comes to an end tonight.
Yeah, and with 60% turnover from last year and a lot of guys back, you can expect that there's a good chance that St. Clair will be right back on the horse once again next year.
Both teams lining up on the respective lines. Trophy presentation. The Okanagan Sun once again come away with the victory, 42-24. Final score here on We Digital. Post-game coverage continuing. Part of the celebration. Now they'll get the chance to be presented the awards as part of the celebrations here tonight. Let's take a listen.
Giving out some players of the game here, Justin, and it looks like it's the punter who gets the special teams player of the game for the Okanagan Sun.
Strong punts all night from Wagner. As some of the officials, including the GTA Grizzlies, apparel. Congratulations there. Defensive player of the game. Tyron Braymiller, strong regular season campaign, and impact player on defense this year.
Yeah, and he had a couple nice plays, had, I believe, 2 sacks, or at least 1 sack and a number of pressures there. And I just know, you can tell the look on his face. He's not happy. He'd rather take the win.
See him taking the award. That leaves the offensive player of the game, and there's a couple different category candidates for that. Garwood, call it a smooth running back in the previews, entering the semifinal. A smooth operator all night tonight.
Very much so, and I would suspect he's over 100 yards. He scored, 3 touchdowns tonight. Very deserving of it, and they iced it on the backs of the offensive line in his running.
National semifinal trophy presentation. Now see this trophy go in the hands of the Okanagan Sun. They are off to the Canadian Bowl for 2022.
Yeah, a little redemption for Okanagan. Not that very many people on the field right now have that, but dating back to '99, the last time Okanagan made the trip here, they were on the short end of that in the national championship game where it was AKO that won. But congratulations to the Okanagan Sun as they hoist the national championship semifinal trophy, and they will represent the Prairie Conference, the BC Conference at the Prairie Champion next week.
The Okanagan Sun immediately running off into the locker room to celebrate his semifinal performance here in this one. Again, final score 42-24 the final. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in for what's been an incredible season of OFC and CJFL football here on We Digital. Once again, congratulations to St. Clair on their OFC championship. Congratulations to Okanagan, who are off to the Canadian Bowl for 2022.
Down here at field level, head coach Travis Miller of the Okanagan Sun. Congratulations, coach. And how well did your team play here today?
Oh, I think we played well in spurts. Obviously, lots to work on, as is any game. So we'll take that information that we learned here today and hopefully get better for the national championship.
First half dominated. Second half a little bit different. What changed and how did your team, I guess, handle it?
You know what? Adversity has always been something that we've seemed to overcome this season. The second half adjustments by St. Clair were incredible. They did a great job. Came out and scored those 2 quick touchdowns and then drove the field again. Our offense struggled in the second half, and obviously we got to make sure that we're doing better on that.
Last 3 days here in the southwestern Ontario region, obviously the results are good. Everything fell in place for your squad. How much does this help you prepare for the couple of weeks with the Canadian Bowl?
Yeah, I mean, St. Clair's a great team, so having the opportunity, like I said before, to play an undefeated team is awesome for us. Doesn't happen very often with these interconference play games, so everything that we learned here tonight we'll take into the national championship in 2 weeks.
Coach, have a safe journey home. Good luck in the Canadian Bowl.
Thanks, guys. We appreciate it.
Okay. Coach Miller of the Okanagan Sun, victorious here tonight. Great job, great team. Got to give full marks to St. Clair, though. You know, everybody thought they were down and out after that first half, and I'll tell you what, they came back in that second half, showed a lot of heart, a lot of pride, and certainly have a lot to be proud of. We're going to take a minute here. Evan, our producer, I was just say, throw it to a commercial, or if Badi and Justin throw it to a commercial, and I'm going to try to get Coach LaChance. I'd like to get a couple of comments with him to end off the coverage here. We'll be back in a couple of minutes.
For every big breath, for every little breath, and for every breath in between, Ontario Power Generation is committed to keeping Ontario's air clean. That's why the power we generate is 99% free of smog and carbon emissions. Because clean air matters to us all.
Did you know that the most severe injuries in our region are motor vehicle crashes? 65% of road fatalities last year were directly the result of distracted driving. 90% of injuries arriving in our emergency rooms are preventable. Our message to you this summer is, put down the phone. Just drive. Let's work together to keep our trauma stretchers empty.
what can milk do? Well, it can turn you into a morning person. It can help fuel some pretty tough stuff. And it can definitely make cartoons funnier.
No, it can't.
Oh, well, it can have a little edge. But come on, even kiddies love it. It'll keep up with you at any age. It makes engines whir and creme brulee creamy. It's one of the easiest labels you'll ever read. And anything that makes this happen is pretty special. In fact, what can't milk do?
Every child should learn how to swim, for health, for safety, and for fun. That's why we've started Canada's Swim Team. Learn to swim at least 25 meters on your own, and you're on the team. Canada's Swim Team. It's that easy. Help make us the world's largest swim team.
Coach Mike Morency, really appreciate you giving us a couple minutes here, Coach. A pretty emotional time for the team, but I think there's a lot of good things to talk about here.
Yeah, we were down big at the half, but we sure didn't lay down in the second half. We came out and played hard, and that's what you want to see, is that the kids have that attitude that, see if we can work ourselves back in the ball game. Down by 25, and we got it down to a workable number. We ran a little bit of gas at times. With a small bet, 40 guys is a tough thing to play with at this level. With the numbers being down. But, great effort by our kids, and we're extremely proud of the effort they gave, and they showed no quit, that's for sure.
Fair to say, Coach Morency, I think a lot of guys are going to realize, this team anyways can play with these teams out west.
Yeah, we closed the gap a little bit today, I think. The stuff you usually hear about, the gap is really big. It's big, but it ain't as big as it used to be. We took a huge step today, and I think people look at the score, realize we made a couple of mistakes. This game was probably a little bit closer than even it indicated. But I think we made a good step today, so pretty proud.
Go get in there. You deserve to be in there. Appreciate it. Coach Morency helping us out here. Again, Dan, if you can just pan across, look at this as a very emotional squad right now. But a great chat from Coach LaChance, of course, Coach Morency, telling us, how close this team is coming, the growing pains of all of this, but it's happening in a great direction. We'll see if we're going to go grab Coach LaChance quickly. We stayed and we dug them up. Head coach Mike LaChance, first of all, congratulations. I thought this team really showed a lot of determination, a lot of heart, and showed that they could play.
Yeah, it took us a while to get acclimated. I think we underestimated maybe the speed and the ferocity that they were going to come at us with. They were a little more physical than they looked on tape. And it took us a while. We had to take a step back and go in the dressing room and just kind of say, hey, guys, we can play with this team. We just got to do it one play at a time. And I love that they fought back. I love this team. I love the composure of them. Wish we would have got it done, but you know what? Bigger things ahead.
Yeah, it's a process. You've been through it. You've been through it as a coach, as a player. You've done it all. This is, fair to say, Coach, a real big step, a positive step.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you look at the score. I don't know if that's indicative of the style of play that happened in the meat and bones of that game. They got one late. I think when it was in the middle of the game, we started coming back and we played with them, and they knew. I think when they know they were in a football game, and I think the country watching it knows that we could play ball here in Ontario, and it's a step, like you said, it's a step in the right direction. We went through it in the late 90s, and ironically, when we hit the mountaintop, we beat Okanagan in the final. So hopefully we get back there, and we'll keep working hard. The guys coming back will be bigger, stronger, faster. I'll be a better coach for it, and we'll move on.
I think you can take a lot of building from this year, though. I think, Coach, fair to say that. And, this is only going to bode well for this program here at St. Clair.
Yeah, I mean, we've already started the recruiting process pretty hot and heavy, and we've got a really good recruiting base here in Windsor, a lot of awesome high school football players. So we'll get to work. Trust me, I'll be at work tomorrow, all recruiting around the country. And my phone's already blown off the hook, and this game's just going to help that.
All right, Coach, I'll let you get in the room with the guys. Congrats on everything. Great year. That's why the Saints are on the right track here, folks. You got guys like Coach LaChance, Coach Morency, the entire coaching staff, the college, everybody's on the same page here, and it's just going to get better, and it's going to keep growing. So, unfortunately, though, this does end our season with the Saints. One step away from making it to the Canadian Bowl. Not a bad year. Only one loss this season. It was tonight. So, I would say, all in all, a pretty successful season. I want to say thank you to St. Clair College for all their help this season. The great crew here at We Digital, can't thank those guys enough for all their hard work throughout the campaign. And thank you to the viewers at home. We've received your comments. We appreciate your comments and your support of our broadcast. And we hope to get to do more of this stuff for you down the road. So once again, the Okanagan Sun are moving on to the Canadian Bowl. They defeat the Saints 42-24. On behalf of everybody here at We Digital Productions, this is Dominic Papa wishing you a great night.